Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's episode of the TimcastIRL podcast. I am proud to announce we have a very, very special guest. I could not believe we pulled off this interview. It's a surprise. We didn't tell anybody, but sitting next to me is not Adam Krigler, in fact. It is our current guest, former vice president and current presumed Democratic presidential nominee, Joe Biden. There he is, gently caressing that like button. Joe, thanks for coming on the show. Can you tell me what you want the audience to do?
Biden that button.
Biden, I don't know if anyone can hear you.
Oh, I can't wait to see what that looks like. Oh my God, I can see it. Oh my goodness, that is great. Hey everybody.
I think that may be the stupidest thing we've ever done.
Don't worry, we'll top it.
So someone sent us a big stand-up of the Biden, and it came with that wonderful little cutout of his face, and I couldn't resist.
Did you see the video I put on Instagram?
I did, yeah.
So we keep making jokes about how because we have this cardboard cutout of Joe Biden that's really creepy. So like in the middle of the night, you're going to get a glass of water from the sink, and you like, at the corner of your eye, you see someone standing there and you look, it's Joe Biden.
Oh, gosh.
So I decided to film a funny video where I'm like, I walk in the studio, it's all dark. I'm like, why are the lights turned off? Like, what's going on? I heard a noise. And then I look and I scream and it just cuts. It's just Joe Biden standing there.
I needed a good laugh, though. Seriously, man.
For real.
Joe Biden says, smash that like button.
Biden
Sniff it,
like
smell it,
Sniff that like
caress
button.
that like button.
Look, fat. You got to smash that like button.
Make the like button's hair stand on its edge. Too far?
Wait, no. I got long blonde like buttons. And the kids, they like to put their hands on it and press that like button.
Oh my gosh.
This is what we're going to do from now on to make sure everybody mashes the like button as hard as possible. We're getting weird props going on this show.
Oh, we're having a lot of fun. Oh,
Well,
my
we do-
goodness. I'm having fun anyway.
We do have very
Jeez.
serious news. Trump threatening federal action on the Democrat liberal cities. It's probably more of a passive comment, but
Yeah.
considering what happened in Portland and how insane everything's getting, yeah, maybe. I mean, they've already called him called the feds an occupying army, and then we're just gonna go through some of the press about how they're handling all this stuff.
Yep.
But we do have there's another story. The DNC and the RNC are like basically gonna ban. I don't know if they're gonna ban, but they're like warning people about not using TikTok.
Oh, good.
Because of Chinese spying stuff.
Finally.
But we're just going to talk about stuff. But I have good news too before we get started on everything. Ladies and gentlemen, Florbo has returned to the Urban Dictionary.
Florbo returns.
Yes.
With a more acceptable definition. So first, actually, you should if you haven't subscribed. I know we Joe Biden told you to smash the like button.
So you did.
But Joe
You
also
did.
wants you to subscribe to the channel too. And
Oh gosh.
he'll be back tomorrow.
He'll turn up behind you.
Yeah, we do the show every Monday through Friday live at 8. But for those that saw the previous show where we talked about Urban Dictionary, they got woke. Urban Dictionary. You got to make sniffing noises while you do it. Somebody mentioned when I was doing the Instagram joke, there should have been sniffing noises in the background, like echoing.
Oh, I could have
yeah.
totally done that.
What's that?
What the heck?
What's this noise? But we have some other ideas for funny bits. But anyway, Urban Dictionary got woke. And there's a word that I use that is specifically designed to be non-offensive. Florbo. Let me explain this to you. So first, Urban Dictionary said we're not going to be a platform for hate speech, so we're going to be, considering this. And I don't know what that means. Because Urban Dictionary is just like nothing but offensive words.
Right.
Like that's the point of it.
What does this offensive word mean?
Like-
I'll check Urban Dictionary.
Yep.
You know what? There was a few things I wanted to say that I thought wouldn't be overtly offensive, but I figured some people like I don't want someone's kid to go, Dad, what does that mean? And then have to be like, ooh, now I gotta explain that. No.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna avoid saying some of these things. But
Good call.
We are a family friendly show, so we mentioned instead of we talk frequently about, say, like an instance where a bunch of jerks, mean people, have formed a big circle where they're all patting each other on the back. A circle of jerks.
Yep.
Not having to define what the actual phrase would be.
Yes.
Anyway, that's what Urban Dictionary does. So for them to start banning these words, it makes no sense. Well, sure enough, Florbo got banned. It got removed from Urban Dictionary. To me, that's crazy. And I'll tell you why it's crazy. Florbo was designed to be a neutral third party in the culture war. Okay, listen. You have people who demand you use their pronouns or use non-standard pronouns. I mean, like they, them, right? But then you have conservatives saying, no, I will use the pronouns that are appropriate as I see. And I'm like, whoa, guys, we need to come up with a word that I will make up that won't be offensive to anybody, that no one will force anyone else to say. The idea is you can't make me say what you want me to say, and I can't get mad because you're using the wrong pronoun. Florbo. The point of Florbo is if you don't know what someone's identity is, you don't got to say they, them. You don't got to say the wrong pronoun, Giger, whatever. You just say Florbo. And it was like, I'll be fair. I think it was like a half joke. Like the idea was if someone's going to get offended that you said that you're telling them to say they, and they're going to be like, no, I won't use that pronoun. And someone else is going to get offended if you misgender them on an accident.
Yeah.
Then maybe the best thing you could do is just use a neutral word from a third party. And so somebody made a definition, and the definition was actually a little bit more antagonistic to the left, like making fun of, I guess, Sam Smith or whatever. It got banned. And I was offended because the word's specifically not offensive to anyone.
That's the whole point.
So there's 2 new definitions that were put in, and these are actually good. Check this out. The first one says, what someone may be called when their preferred pronouns are unknown to the speaker, replaces he, him, she, her, them. And there's an example. Who is that over there? It looks like Florbo is trying to climb that giant oak tree. Yeah, it's just neutral. It's just not meant to be an attack on anybody or anything like that.
Yep.
But the one down here is actually really good. It says, a term to refer to any person identifying as any identity, no identity, multiple identities, or any combination of the former without offending anyone. So it says Florbo is offended by being called Florbo without understanding that a Florbo is a catch-all term to refer to all Florbos. We are all Florbo. And if we are all Florbo, then no one should be offended by the term Florbo. Does that make sense to Florbo now?
I like that.
I really do like that.
That's great.
It's like everybody is.
Yep.
So don't be mad because I am as well.
Someone actually tweeted at me a couple days ago when we talked about this. Maybe it was yesterday. When did they strike it? Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly. Maybe it was last week. But either way, someone hit me up and said, I actually just entered it into the database because you have to like send it to them and they have to approve it.
Oh, they approved it.
Oh.
So this was actually someone who watches our show, potentially. I don't know if this is exactly it, but if you're out there, you tweeted at me once, you could tweet at me again. Tweet at me and let me know, and that would be cool. Because if it is, thank you.
Wait, they approved this.
Urban Dictionary did.
Approved it.
I know.
Boom. It's canon. There we go.
I'm fairly certain this is because this is directly from us talking about it.
I think so.
No, but my thing is Urban Dictionary. I thought you could just put whatever word you wanted in there. You could just be like, Blaffler is a giant unicorn with laser eyes.
All hail Blaffler.
Blaffler. Vociferon is a reference to mechanized cyborg furries or something. You know what I mean? Like, I thought you could just make up words and just put it in. Mm-hmm. I didn't think it had to be approved. But considering they're getting woke, I guess they have to approve it now.
I guess
I'll tell you what, that's a glorious endorsement of the word.
Yeah,
indeed.
And I would accept
Florbo,
that.
that's great.
Yeah,
and
solid.
As I was explaining before, I felt like, you know what, it's supposed to be a soft word. Mm-hmm. Reminds me of Flubber from that Robin Williams movie. Everybody loved Robin Williams. Like, his movie was fun. It was family friendly. It was meant to be a very fluffy, neutral. Everybody can get along. Let's lay down on a big old pile of beanbags and have a conversation. But I have to imagine some people probably are still offended by it. That's why it got removed in the first place. But hopefully these are more acceptable.
I think so.
Thank you, everybody. Now that we've wasted 8 minutes of your time talking about this word.
Someone just tagged me and said it's been in Rick and Morty for a while. I think you're thinking of a plumbus.
Oh yeah.
Everybody has a plumbus.
Oh, no, Flurbo.
Flurbo. Oh yeah, Flurbo is different than Florbo.
Very different.
Yeah,
not the same thing.
Because well, to be fair, like
it's close.
I think they use a bunch of gibberish words.
They do, yeah.
And it's really hard to come up with a gibberish word. But I'm sure there's probably some subconscious thing. I don't know. Oh, Flurbos are money. I think Flurbos are money.
Currency.
Yeah. Flurbo though.
Flurbo,
not Florbo.
Yeah, Florbo.
So totally different. O or
Yeah. Yeah, it would be.
You get it.
It would be like the difference of trying to explain someone who doesn't speak English. The difference between Mr. and my sister. Because when you say it fast enough, a non-English speaker might be like, "My sister, Mister." Like, sounds like almost the same word when you're speaking really fast.
Right.
It's actually something I've encountered. That's why I brought it up. So different words. Anyway, now that you've all been had your time gloriously wasted,
No. Enlightened
Enlightened.
is the term you should have used there.
That's right.
We've brought you into a new world of understanding.
Florbo.
Actually, to be fair though, there's a tweet from James Lindsay about math and postmodernism and stuff, and he talks about how a lot of the arguments made by the woke left are just to confuse an issue. It's interesting. There's a comic going around where two people are talking about 2 + 2 = 4, and how that's not a true statement. So,
Oh yeah, it equals 5 now, right?
No.
That's what they're trying to say.
The argument is it can equal anything, and that your understanding is skewed. And this is actually really dangerous, in my opinion. It seems like the goal of a lot of these activists is to create tribalism to an extreme degree.
Yeah.
So some activists posted, people are attacking me for claiming 2 + 2 = 5. How can this be a true statement? And then all of a sudden, a bunch of posts emerged. So what they tried doing is, in this comic, it shows two black people. They're like cartoon characters. They're like stick figures talking. And one of them says, 2 + 2 is always 4. And the other person says, I'm concerned about your use of the word always because that implies like absolutes, which is not true, blah, blah, blah. And then the person says 2 apples + 2 oranges does not equal 4 apples. But the problem was that that's a non-standard equation. They're trying to confuse you into making you think that since variables exist, basic formulas are improper. They're trying to make you just not understand basic math. I've heard this argument so many times from people who want to sound like they're smart. Actually, 2 + 2 could be 10 in base form. If only you actually understood and you were as smart as me. That's basically what they're doing.
Sure.
So, so this comic ends up going viral, and James Lindsay points out that a lot of these things you hear are attempts to confuse people and like shatter non-standard understandings of reality. I'm probably going into a little bit more deeply than he did in his tweet, but I think that's true with a lot of the identity claims about what people dress as, how they call themselves. It's more of an asserting power. Like it's like Karening almost, when you're like, you think 2 + 2 = 4. Let me explain to you. You don't even know what binary is, do you? No. So then you end up with, kind of weird words and weird definitions. And I think what's particularly dangerous about it is that it's really rooted in people trying to feel like they're special. They want to know that they're smart. They want to convince you they're smart. They want to contribute, honestly. They want to be a part of something.
Yeah, everybody does.
So when you say something like, what goes up must come down. Well, actually, you're only referring to within, microgravity, and they start giving off these explanations because
technically up in the universe could be any direction.
Oh, you see, there you go.
So it depends on the rotation of the Earth too, because you can go up when you're on this side, and then you be going in the same direction going down when you're on the other side.
And think about how stupid it is for someone to actually assert something as dumb as that. I'm sorry, you're very dumb. Let me explain. See, in outer space, there is no up. And besides, even if there was, you could throw something to the right, but if the planet was to your left, it would go from right to left. So what goes right must go left. How stupid are you? Yeah, that's a lot.
No, the sky is blue, Tim. The sky is blue.
Actually, the sky is black. What you're referring to is the reflection of particles in the atmosphere that are absorbing certain spectrum of the visible spectrum.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we're having fun, aren't we?
Now that we've wasted more of your time.
Even more time.
What are we talking about,
10 plus 10 equals 1010. Somebody posted something like that.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, nice.
We're actually going to be talking about Trump and federal enforcement.
Oh yeah.
And look, man, I'm getting really, really sick and tired of this news cycle. I think the Democrats are panicking, and panicking maybe isn't the right word for it. I think the Democrats are probably in full-on mental breakdown over the fact that they are losing support from the black community.
Yep.
As referenced by that documentary we talked about the other day.
I think from the entire community, not just...
Well, Rasmussen has Trump's support at 41% among all likely black voters.
Oh, wow.
So to see the sheer level of racial news, to me, is like... It is insane.
It is insane.
It is insane. The CDC, 1,200 employees demanding they declare racism a public health crisis.
What?
Like, what? What? What is this? This news cycle, it's just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
Like, it's everything taken up. I would say taken up to 11, but it's like 50. It's like they
Rip the
ripped the
knob
knob off. Every story I look up on, now the top story is that Donald Trump said when he was asked about Black Lives Matter, he says, what about white people who get killed? And now all of a sudden, here we go.
How dare you make this about another? It's like, okay, well, what about the statistics that's true? Because that is true. It's like he wasn't wrong.
It's like they're trying to tear. It's like I think it's because they know they're not offering anything tangible to minority voters. Not just the black community, but Latinos, Asians.
It's true.
And Trump is in the polls gaining, and that means he wins.
Yep.
And I wonder if, they talk about how the polls are unable to capture non-college educated whites. Mm-hmm. I wonder how effective the polls are at capturing, the black community vote. If these are communities that were taken for granted by all political parties for a long time, regardless, Republican and Democrat, then I don't know if the pollsters can effectively track these demographic changes, like the rise of the black conservative and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then we might be seeing these polls. What may be skewing the polls is that they may be all true.
Yeah.
Trump is losing support among certain white voters, so Biden is leading, but the polls may be ignoring certain minority communities because they've never had to poll in this way before.
That's a good point.
So Trump could actually be way up, and we're going to see something like we saw in 2016 when the polls were all saying Hillary was going to win. The probability said she was going to win. And then afterwards they went, well, we knew we couldn't actually survey these, non-college educated white people. So we didn't realize how wrong we were going to be.
You just said something too, the rise of the black conservative. That's inaccurate. It's actually the return of the black conservative.
Right.
Because that is a lot of the black conservatives are the ones that were really making the leaps and bounds in civil rights in our history. So they were prevalent.
I think it's the, I don't know what it is. I don't know. Maybe it's that people are becoming less, some people are too scared to speak up. Some people are less scared to speak up.
Yep.
You know what's interesting too about the argument, because I've been talking about this a lot, about people refusing to speak up, is that there are so many people who have found success in speaking out. There are people who have been canceled who have turned it into a career. There have been people who weren't even canceled but started saying unpopular things and found their audience.
Good point.
And there are people who are hiding in their closet hoping that when the Reaper comes to their door, they'll be the one house he just skips over.
Yep.
Sorry, it's not going to work that way.
Well, I'm certainly speaking up. I'm exhausted, mentally exhausted from the amount of re-explaining I have to do, because it's really hard to just simply say, oh sure, here's all of the 5 months of research that I've been doing and the hundreds of hours that I've had with you on this show, and outside of the show that we talk about things that are going on. It's like, how do I quantify all that in just a simple response on Facebook? Well, why are you voting for him? It's like, okay,
you can't do it on Facebook.
Down. No, I know, and but it's not about Facebook. Because now I've had certain people reach out to me outside of Facebook. Hey, talk to me about what is it about him that you like? Why are you voting? Why are you voting like that? And those few people, people on Twitter are like, dude, just don't worry about him. There's going to be haters. And it's like, no, we have to talk. We have to speak up. We've been talking about it. We have to have these conversations. I'm civil, and some of them don't agree with me, and some of them are like, you know what? That's fine. I'm still not going to vote for Trump, but I'm glad we had this conversation. It's like, yes, even I'm not trying to sway anyone, but I'm sick of the lies that I'm seeing, and I'm calling them out. And that's kind of why I wanted to have that conversation.
It feels like, I grew up with all of these people saying the war was bad, protesting war in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And now here we are. And when I actually asked one of my friends, who's like same age as me, Chicago liberal.
Yep.
Would you support pulling out the troops from Afghanistan?
Yes, of course, right?
No.
Really?
There's like wait a minute.
Is this a trap?
I know what Tim thinks. And so the response is no longer, we must pull out. The response is now, well, maybe, but, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Do you have an original thought in your brain? Look, man, you can complain about all the worst things in the world from Obama, from Trump, from anybody, but if you have stood on this if you have stood on this hill that we should not be in the Middle East,
right,
and Trump says, okay, I'll pull out of the Middle East, you can't all of a sudden be like, well, no, actually, I think. No, you say, all right, well, okay, I'll take it, I guess.
Someone asked me the other day, why are they pulling against the troops? And that's why I asked you yesterday. And it's like the war machine, the Russia
Poppy
contracts, all these things. And I'm like, I've looked into it, and I still have yet to find a nice, legitimate answer.
There's
by anyone in the Democratic
much
side
to break down in terms of the actions being taken in the Middle East. But the first thing you can say, you can look at a map and see that Iraq and Afghanistan are on both sides of Iran.
Mm-hmm.
And John Bolton, who was advising Trump for a while and then got outed and then turned on, that was a mistake. He was he wanted to invade Iran.
Yep.
And so it has a lot to do with oil. It has a lot to do with resources.
Of course it does.
It has a lot to do with regional power. It has a lot to do with competing for natural resources. Yep. So there's this big international.
Isn't it always, right?
I mean, it's energy. Energy equals expansion. Expansion equals cultural expansion. And so we're competing with China and a bunch of other interests to expand, and China is rapidly gaining ground. So I can't tell you what they want from Iran. Maybe it has to do with defending Israel, controlling the region. Israel's constantly under threat, and the U.S. is definitely trying to stabilize. There's a lot of reasons. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's a lot of people who just do it for money. I'm sure there's a lot of people who do it for ideological reasons. A lot of people who do it for strategic reasons, for dominance around the world. But in the end, there's a lot of people in this country who are sick of it and have wanted for a long time. First of all, we should have never gone over there, right, and now want us to return. How is it that there are people who are now serving in the military who were born after we invaded?
Yep.
That's the craziest thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least that's like a talking point to say, like, we are now at that point. But Trump comes along, and I'm sitting here, and like my position's long been like, one of the only things I really care about first before we can move on is bringing our soldiers home and not being this invading force in these foreign countries. And then everything just stops when Trump goes, okay. And
right.
I'm like, wait, what? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, wait, you're actually going to do it?
Yeah, it's like, it's something that I've been saying for a long time. Like, we got to stop the war machine and stop being the world police. And almost every single person I know that is arguing with me now has felt that way.
But they flip and now they support being the world police?
Well, I mean, you can't have a rational conversation, so I've never got there. I haven't been able to even get to that point in the conversation. I listed all of the things that I've found that are good that he's done, and that's on there. That's like one of the things, and they're just like, nah, that's not good enough. He's friends with Nazis. And I'm like, what? Where are you getting your information?
So is Hillary Clinton.
So I simply just said, now's when you show me your source.
Oh yeah, right.
And I have yet to hear back.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna not have a civil conversation. I'm not gonna like become emotional. I want to have all the facts. I'm laying them all out. I'm gonna continue doing so.
These people who think that we're the Empire from Star Wars.
Yeah.
They think that America is the worst imperial foreign invading country. Okay, well, you've got your choice of Biden, who was part of the Obama administration, working with Hillary Clinton and exacerbating these problems.
Yep.
And you have Donald Trump, who's being blocked as he tries to bring the troops back.
Yep.
This is why. Look, I voted for Obama the first time, not second time.
Right.
Because he was like, we're going to bring our troops home. And then he gets in and he's like, more troops. And then they started blowing up kids and civilians and then calling them enemy combatants and stuff. Oh, they're military age. That's good enough for us. And so I was like, yeah, right. I'm not going to fall for this again. And then I did not vote in 2012. I did not vote in 2016. Now I'm at a point where, for one, yeah, cancel culture, PC culture, the weird intersectionalism freaks me out. But then Trump's like, even though I didn't vote for him, he's talking about bringing our troops back. And I'm like, okay, he didn't promise me to do anything. I didn't vote for him. He's literally just doing something.
He's not just saying we got to bring our troops home. He's going into detail. We need to stop being the world police. We need to focus on our infrastructure, making our roads better, helping our minority communities, which he is doing. And it's like, how are they ignoring that now? This is one of the biggest reasons why I thought I didn't like him, because I didn't think that he was for that, because I didn't actually listen to the right people, to the right things. To the actual policies that he was putting forward.
Here's what I'm saying. When Obama made me that promise, like, we're going to do all these great things, we're going to bring our troops back. And I was like, I like what he's selling. I'm going to buy.
Yep.
Vote. And then what did he do? One of the first things he did was he bombed a village of women and children looking for an enemy combatant or something.
Yep.
And I was like, that's not what I paid for. I mean that metaphorically, not literally. I'm like, whoa. I come into a shop and I say one slice of pepperoni pizza. You give me some weird, veggie tofu stuff. I'm going to be like, hey, whoa, I get it. Some people might want you to do certain things, but that's not what I asked for. That's not what you promised me.
Right.
I didn't vote for Trump. I laughed when he won, and I didn't care. I'm like, yeah, well, you know what? I was totally disenfranchised, disaffected. Now they're resisting him trying to bring the troops back, and I'm like, that's the biggest thing to me. I don't care about anything else. It's like, well, what about Trump and his very fine people? I don't care. Wait, hold on. You think that because Trump said naughty words, I'm supposed to not support the idea that we're going to pull our imperialistic Star Wars stormtrooper troops out of the Middle East?
Back home? Bring them back to their families?
You think this is the Empire from Star Wars? You think that it's better for Joe Biden to get in and send more people over there just so he can say nice words to you? Trump could go on a foul-mouthed tirade for 5 hours, cussing, using every slur in the book. And then if he said, and after all that, here's an executive order, I am ordering all the troops to return tomorrow, I'd be like, okay. I don't care what he said. Because, he's doing it. He's trying to do it now.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of feel like his promises are meaningless. If he said, trust me, reelect me and I'll do it, I'd be like, yeah, right.
Right.
I'm not buying it.
But he's straight up doing it.
And so I'm like, I want to help him do that. I want to end that. I don't like that. I've never liked that. And I've actually been somebody I was in Egypt during the revolution.
Yep.
I don't pretend like I was in Afghanistan or Iraq or anything like that. But I've covered a lot of this national security news for a decade. And I understand a lot of the complexities of it. I've heard the debates. And I just can't square away what we do over there with my morals and my ethics. And along comes a president who, without asking, without telling me, like, I need your vote to do this, he just started doing it. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and that a few different people were like yelling at me for supporting a Nazi supporter, basically. And I'm like, what is this from? And it all boiled down to that one
fake
speech.
news.
And I was like, okay, I wasn't paying attention then. I'll go look at the speech and I'll listen to what he's saying. And I did. And the very first thing out of his mouth, I do not condone any neo-Nazis. They should all go away.
They should be condemned
They should
totally.
be condemned totally. Period. Yeah. And then he moves on and they're like, well, what about the people that were there? And he's like, I'm sure not everybody there was a neo-Nazi. They were against the statues coming down.
He was right.
And I was like, okay, that makes sense to me. And he was talking about the people that specifically were not the neo-Nazis.
You know what's funny? How come the right didn't go, Trump just defended Antifa? Trump is defending Marxist and violent communists. Did you hear him when he said there's very fine people on both sides?
On both sides.
That was Trump defending neo-Marxists?
I guess so.
Communists? Violent authoritarians? No,
it doesn't go
both
ways, Tim. It doesn't go both ways.
Exactly. Politics flows in one direction.
That's true.
It's
like
left. Away from the left. So if you are seen in a video with a guy wearing a MAGA hat and you're smiling and giving a thumbs up, they'll be like, Adam's a Trump supporter now.
Wait till I actually put on a MAGA hat.
But then wait. If you're caught in a photo standing next to Antifa giving a thumbs up, they'll go, that Antifa guy is a Trump supporter now. You get it?
Yep.
It's only one direction. So when Trump says both sides had good people, the media doesn't say Trump defends communists. They say Trump defends Nazis, even though he didn't. In fact, hold on. Trump, I dare say, that's a new t-shirt we need to make, I dare say, Donald Trump condemned the Nazis. Did Donald Trump in that speech condemn communists? He did not. Therefore, it is more apt to say Donald Trump actually defended communists as very fine people. It makes more sense. Because if you actually go through his speech...
Yeah, that's true, because he actually condemned the neo-Nazis.
Yep.
Specifically.
That's true. That's the only people that he did condemn in that speech.
I am not. I think Trump lacks tact. I don't like his behavior. He mocked a reporter getting body slammed. I'm not a fan of these journalists and everything but
right.
There's a certain demeanor that I expect to the office of the president, and that's why I've never been a big fan of Trump.
Yeah, his tact is not the best.
I don't care.
I'll be the first to admit that. Sure. And it totally played into the story, the whole narrative that Orange Man bad, because he is not a politician. He is a showboater and he loves attention. Mm-hmm. That's obvious.
And I have more disdain for the media than him.
Yeah.
And they lie about him all the time.
So does most of the general public, doesn't it?
But Trump said something. I want to make sure I'm getting this right, but I vaguely remember him saying something like, I'm a mean guy, but I work for you. And so that I found funny. I also really loved when he was like, I ran for office one time. He became president of the United States. He is a funny guy. He's funny.
Yeah.
But my thing's like...
Well, he toyed with the idea for a long time, though.
I think he knows. I think he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I
I've
gotta
done
be
a lot
honest.
of digging
I
on it.
gotta be completely honest. I don't like him. He's funny.
Okay.
There's some things that I like he's doing. I'm willing to vote for him mostly because of the war stuff, and I'm also because this guy here is nuts. he's Joe Biden is just, it's ridiculous.
But what scares me more about this guy is who's behind this guy,
The
because
administration, the establishment.
exactly, that's right.
The next
So
Obama.
I'm in this position where there's a lot of moderate individuals, intellectual dark web types or whatever they call them, where it's like there's a lot of reasons to be upset about this cycle. And for me, for the longest time, I've been like, I mean, last year I was like, I'm never voting for Trump. It's like, look, I get it. I get the culture war, all this stuff. But listen, there really is character issues and integrity issues, tact issues, arrogance, ego.
Yep.
But you know what? I don't care about any of that if it comes down to him signing that order to bring our troops back, and he's been trying to, and they're blocking him and they're smearing him.
Yep.
And so I'm sitting here saying, you know what? We got less than 4 months. I want to, if he actually takes some very substantive action, I will gladly walk in there and be like, yep, stamp right on that line, because the way I see it is, what is Joe Biden going to get us? Under Obama, the racial tensions were escalating. The violence was
Chinese rule.
I mean, that's it potentially. It's just, I'm talking about all of the problems we face today. Could Joe Biden snap his fingers and make COVID go away? Of course not.
But it'll happen.
And Andrew. Well, we joke about it, but look, Andrew Cuomo caused all those problems.
And Murphy.
And Murphy and
Yes,
there were problems in Connecticut. The tri-state was a disaster.
Yep.
So if Biden was president, would that change? No, of course not. Would the riots have changed? No. What could Joe Biden do to prevent the George Floyd incident? Was he going to magically parachute in as it was happening and say, "Halt, I'm Super Biden to stop this because I'm psychic"? No, it would have happened.
And I'm totally not racist.
Now, it's possible that the media wouldn't have gone nuts with it and they'd simmer down because the orange man bad narrative is cash money for these businesses. But I think you bring in Biden and you get more of Obama. And a lot of people are going to laugh right now and go, but we liked Obama. That's fine. That's fine if you like the re-upping of the authorization for use of military force in the Middle East. That's fine if you like the indefinite detention provisions under the NDAA, the extrajudicial assassinations of American citizens, the killing of women and children, the use of the Espionage Act. I can go on for a really long time.
I know you can.
I don't want this guy to come back and bring back his stupid nonsense.
Yep.
And so I look at Trump and I'm kind of like, yeah. The economy was good. I get it. But then the Afghanistan thing happens. They're now trying to accuse, Russia was putting a bounty on soldiers. And I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Okay, it's been disputed. But you mean to tell me that the Taliban that already wants to kill American soldiers needed help? Needed incentives to do it? Shut up.
Yeah, someone was giving me a hard time about that, trying to convince me that that was the case. And I just kept asking for sources.
No, wait. You just say, wow, really? Oh man, we should definitely bring them back.
We should bring them home.
Yeah. We better bring them back before they get hurt, because you agree, right? Trump's not going to help them, right? Yeah, we better bring them all home. Imagine what we can do if all of that energy we put over there, and truth be told, we have reduced our forces over there substantially, especially under Trump. I think there's 8,600 or so remaining. I'm not entirely sure, but imagine if we took all of those people and said, "Here's Flint. We need to refit all these pipes and get that lead out there, clean that water."
Yeah, how about that?
How about that?
Guys.
That sounds great.
So we're talking about this. This just came up. The Pentagon says the U.S. has withdrawn from 5 bases in Afghanistan after the Taliban agreement. Just so you know.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Making it happen.
I didn't ask to.
He's making moves.
I didn't ask Trump to do anything for what I think needs to happen.
But you know what happened though, right?
He just did it.
No, he is straight up. What time is it? 8:30. He's watching the show right now.
It's true. It was 15
and he was
minutes ago.
Executive order. We're gonna name this one.
You get
the pool move.
No.
I don't
say that.
I don't know.
He's watching the show on his phone, and he's sitting in the Oval Office, and he's like, "So these city liberal guys,
That
they want us."
That Adam guy, he's all right.
Yeah.
He's all right, vaguely.
He's gonna do a rally. He's gonna be like, "Adam Krigler, I was watching this show. It's the best podcast, TimcastIRL. This guy, he says, I'm gonna vote for Trump. Good man."
I mean, to be honest, crazy things have happened to me like this. I'm not joking.
Well, people watching the show or whatever.
Just my life has
Yeah.
been one amazing thing after another. So, I'm a lucky person.
Well, maybe we're in a simulation and you're the main character. So when the Civil War breaks out, whoever's actually running the game is going to be playing you, and
Maybe.
you're going to be running into a wall, like stationary and like spinning in circles and jumping for no reason. Yeah, but I think I've beaten the point to death. But it's like it's a weird feeling living through Obama, where he made a promise and then broke that promise. That's a serious promise, and it was hope and change. And then for me to be like, I'm not voting for that guy. I'm not going to vote for him or her. And now Trump's like, I'm withdrawing troops from these bases, and I'm kind of like, I didn't even ask him to do it.
Right.
And so okay.
You literally just said it though, like 10 minutes ago. That's why I'm like, I'm suspect.
He's watching the show.
What's up, President?
He makes a phone call.
Mr. President.
Hello, sir.
Get our troops
Hello, sir.
out of Afghanistan so that the liberals are happy. It's the weirdest thing to me.
Operation The Pool's Closed.
Ooh, pool out. Yeah.
That's chat. That's
listen,
chat, though.
I like
I'm
that.
watching you chat. You guys are great.
They say things like they say things like there's security reasons we don't know. That's why we're over there. And if we leave, there's a power vacuum and all that stuff.
Right.
And I'm sorry, man. If you're concerned about the expansion of these foreign powers and a power vacuum in the Middle East, why aren't you concerned about the death of the middle class, the loss of the manufacturing base, and all these other things that Trump has addressed as well?
Yep.
And that's why I'm kind of looking at this like, I'm not even my focus was never even like, are we going to bring our factories back? It was never a part of my my worldview.
Yep.
Because I worked in media and journalism, but covering a lot of these things, I was like, the Middle East was the biggest blunder, and I blame Bush. It was reactive. It was stupid. I think they used 9/11 as an excuse, and now Trump's doing something. I can't make the president do anything. I can't make Biden do anything. I can't make Obama do anything. All I know is right now I have one vote, and if Biden gets in, he'll do 50 billion things I don't like. If Trump gets in, he'll do 50 billion things I don't like. Okay, well, at least I'll get one thing that's extremely important. Extremely important. It's almost like that one move of bringing the troops back and ending this ridiculous BS occupational war, whatever you want to call it, is worth 100 votes, 1,000 votes. Trump can go in there and say he's going to end cancel culture with, a strong executive order, Section 230 reform. And I'm like, yeah. Those are things that are important to me. But it's like, for every one key wedge issue, you have 10,000, points towards how bad the war is.
So, Mr. President.
Oh, yeah.
if you're listening, Reform 230.
Yes.
Huge.
Yes.
It's really important for the freedom of speech for the future. Very important. End the war on drugs.
Definitely. Legalize at the federal level. Remove marijuana from, what is it, Schedule 1?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is it Schedule 1?
I think it's
Federally?
Schedule 1 narcotics. Yeah.
That's insane.
I agree.
Schedule 1 is nuts. I'll tell you what. Let's create a review board that goes through every single nonviolent conviction and then grants what do you think, pardon or commute?
What's the difference?
Well, if you're pardoned, you're not a felon. If you're commuted, you're free to go, but you're still a convict.
I think pardon then.
Full pardon.
Yeah, because
and then,
if we're making it legal, then it wasn't a crime.
One of the concerns is that people say that some people may have pleaded down.
Okay, so those are the cases that will be commune then, maybe.
Commute?
Or commuted,
well,
yeah.
if somebody's a violent murderer, but they caught them on drug charges and they know and they have good suspicion.
Okay.
My position was innocent until proven guilty if the state didn't make their case. But it is still fair to say the state may have walked away from more serious violence charges if they knew they would get harsher drug charges.
I mean, the whole crime bill thing that I was learning about, it's like that prevents felons or anyone. Actually, it specifically states if you are incarcerated at all in the American system anywhere, you are not allowed to further yourself. You can't get a degree. And I think that is ridiculous. That needs to be repealed immediately.
I'll tell you what I'll do.
And that's part of what we're talking about though right now. It's like for those people, if they are in there, it should be about becoming a better person and getting a degree. And they stopped that back in 1994. And that was Biden, by the way, who did that.
Before Election Day, Donald Trump withdraws our troops from Afghanistan. Mm-hmm. I don't think we have that many left in Iraq anyway. I think it's only a few hundred. So ideally both. And he pardons non-violent marijuana-related offenses. I'll put on MAGA hit.
Oh, you'll wear a MAGA hat.
If he does that.
Oh,
Now
snap.
that's a bold
But
bold
that's,
move.
This
but that,
happens.
that's because like you can't deny it at that point.
You can't. I know.
All
It's
of
true.
these people who are locked up for something as dumb as pot, all of the people we have in the Middle East who should not be there, our
Yep.
soldiers should be brought back home.
Boom.
Those are two groundbreaking, historic moves that could be made.
Mm-hmm.
I would absolutely just be like, absolutely, Trump. Absolutely. You do those things. That's just me, though. And so, I always want to make it clear, like, I don't know what other people want. I don't know what other people need for their lives.
I know a lot of people out there just want freedom.
Yep.
They want to live their lives. And I'm pretty sure that's most of the country.
I wonder if I don't know if Trump has the ability to remove marijuana from the scheduling system.
Yeah, I don't know
think
either.
that might have to be Congress. I'm not sure, but I know he can probably issue an executive order instructing no more enforcement of federal marijuana laws.
Yep.
It would go down to the states. But even if he did that, and then all of these non-violent offenders on marijuana charges
Yeah.
were pardoned, and that's a lot of people.
That's a lot, yeah.
I'd throw a party. I'd put up a banner.
Yep.
And troops in the Middle East.
Yeah.
I'd probably, man, I don't even know how to describe it. I'd probably put up a flag. I'd put up a flag or something.
Yep.
Though, but I got to imagine that's like I'm talking about winning the lottery. I don't think that'll ever happen. I don't
Right.
think Trump would do that.
I don't know. He's doing a lot for the minority communities. People keep trying to like claim that he's a racist, and I'm just like, you until you know how much he has done for the minority communities in this country, you're not allowed to say that to me anymore, because all I hear is that you are ignorant of what he's actually done. Because I know what he's done. I've looked at his policies. I have a thread on my page right now. I'm like, what do I not know? What has he done that that you like? And there is hundreds of comments, and it is countless stuff. That's just incredible that he's done for our country. And I haven't just like read the thread and been like, oh, that sounds great. I've took each individual thing, cross-checked it, read the actual bills that he put out, and they are impressive. So if you think he's racist, go look at what he's done for the minority communities and then talk to me.
The media's go-to for Republican presidents is racism, and it's partly because
You're right.
That's the issue they use to make sure they want to convince minority voters not to to be that's what was it was in that documentary. They talked about it. They tell
Yep.
you this. They told Kanye that if he didn't support them, he would lose his career and things like that.
Yeah, and that's when he blew up and had mental issues. And it's like I listened to his speech, or I'm calling it a speech, but it was his rant before the show, and it was just him telling people to wake up and do their own research, and that they're being lied to. And it's like, sounds like he was just trying to make it rain red pills.
That's right.
Because he was like standing up on a platform too. So no wonder they tried to shut him down.
Trump has one way they get him is that he just blurts things out all the time.
That's true.
And sometimes you're like, what did he just say? Like, I can't, what? It's confusing. And it's almost like, The Intercept, it's really funny. The Intercept is very progressive, and they rag on Trump all the time, but they called him the most honest president in history of the United States.
Yeah,
because he's got no filter.
it's true.
But he does lie about, like, they point out that he's dishonest about things that are kind of weird, about like personal issues and ego issues.
Mm-hmm.
So if he feels slighted, he'll be like, I have the biggest numbers. Nobody has bigger numbers than me. And they're like, why? No, that's like,
Well, I mean, I know a lot about him, and I'm going to save it. I'm actually going to do a deep dive on him this Saturday with Ian on my show, TimcastIRL. So if you would like to come check that out, I'm gonna dive deep into who Donald Trump is, what he's done. We're gonna go nuts. So this Saturday, 8 p.m., you can check it out, TimcastIRL.
It feels like the very famous moment, I bring it up all the time because the Intercept reference this, was when he's being asked by a journalist, and he goes, we're going to do a great weapons deal with Saudi Arabia. They're going to buy tons of our weapons. It's great for the economy. And all of the progressive anti-war people are just like, what?
Yeah.
He just said it. You're not supposed to say that. He didn't care. But then it's like when it comes to ratings and stuff,
Right.
he'll be like, I'm the biggest and the best. And people like point out like, that's not true. Why is he lying about that? Like his ego stuff is weird. But then he'll just be open and honest about these other weird things, like that he's not supposed to. I don't know, man. Look, I think the important thing to bring up to a lot of people who are big fans of Trump is that when you're having a discussion with somebody on the left, you really need to understand they have a deep, visceral reaction of disgust when they see him, when they hear his name.
Yep.
And you're not arguing against facts. You're basically telling someone to imagine a giant ball of mucus, blood, and pus pulsating, that disgust that they feel. It's a raw emotion that's very hard to overcome because their view has been shaped by. It's not just the media lying. Trump has tact problems.
Yes, he does.
He just blurts things out, and it makes it really easy to come after him.
And ego problems, which, it's like
puts his name in big gold letters on top of buildings.
Yeah,
could have seen it coming.
It's true.
Come on, man. So I'll tell you what, man. I would never consider myself to be a supporter of the man, a Trump supporter.
Mm-hmm.
But if he pardoned all the nonviolent marijuana-related offenses and stuff, I'd be like, that'd be shocking.
I just learned something about marijuana that I actually didn't know. So it is a Schedule 1. You're correct.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so this is something that they consider to have no medical value. I'll just leave
wrong.
that there.
It's
I'll just
also
leave that
crazy.
there. It is considered more of a problem than cocaine and methamphetamine.
Wow.
Also, just so you know.
Yep.
Yeah, this is how they class it.
That's ridiculous.
Absolutely insane.
That's ridiculous, man.
I was trying to find who said this, and I'm kind of bummed that I don't have it pulled up, but I read it earlier today, and it was someone was just responding to a long conversation on Twitter, and basically it was saying the left just sees anyone on the right that's not on the left as evil.
Yep.
Just complete evil, and they can't even get along with them because they're just evil. But someone who's not on the far left can be friends can tolerate the people on the left because they don't see them as evil. They see them as misinformed.
Right. The right
And
thinks
that's a huge difference.
The right thinks the left is misguided. The left thinks the right is evil.
Character
It's a
judgment.
big difference.
It's really crazy how hateful some of my friends have become. It's like watching an anger machine.
I could say the same thing, Tim.
It's scary. It's
Yep.
sad. There are people that I used to really, really respect because they've always been very progressive, but they've always been very Socratic, trying to have conversations and be open, inviting, and now they've become rageaholics.
Yep.
They just want to scream. I don't know. There's a viral video of a bunch of women stripping their clothes off and then screaming and just groaning and screaming. And
What's
you
that
know
gonna
what
do?
I'm talking about?
I'm cringing because
you know what I'm talking
I
about?
watched it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's pictures, and you're just like, what is this?
I'm 75% straighter.
What is why? You know what, man?
Cow.
Every day I wake up, you know what the first thing I think is? Today's going to be a good day. Guess what? It is. Because it's like the sun is shining. You know what I think when it's a nice sunny day? Oh, it's a nice sunny day. Oh, it's pretty warm. Well, I'll get all nice and sweaty on that skate. Love
Yep.
getting all sweaty.
Going skate.
You know what I think when it's raining?
Oh,
No, I think
I can't
wow.
skate today.
No, nice rain. I guess I get a day off from skating. I'll chill out, and
The
look out the window.
flowers will grow tomorrow.
The point is, I don't look at the rain as a problem.
Right.
When it's raining, I'm like, oh, cool, finally a storm. And you
Yep.
look out the window and you're like, wow. It's like, what's your worldview? For me, no matter what the weather's like, it's wow. Hey, these things happen. I'm alive. I'm here. I'm gonna make the best of it.
That's a good point.
But these people are becoming infected with a demoralization mind virus.
Everything
where
is awful.
Everything is awful. It's too hot. It's so hot. Now it's raining and I'm wet.
Like you were talking about, if with Florbo, like
Yeah.
they can't even be. They're mad at that.
They banned Florbo from. Someone brought it back.
Right.
But it's like, yeah,
That's not even enough.
it's like because they want to be angry.
You're right.
So that even if you try and find a solution, they'll find some way to be angry.
Yep.
This is why they attack themselves and each other.
It's true.
It's why I tell people there is no staying safe. You know what's really funny? Imagine the scenario: zombies are rampaging through the city, eating everybody's brains.
Yeah.
And someone's like, "Well, as long as I don't yell at the zombies, they won't eat my brains." It's like, but they're eating everyone's brains. They're not going to ignore you for any reason.
In their
they
logic,
want
though,
to be angry.
they're condoning people eating brains.
It reminds
Right?
me. You know what it reminds me of? It's like Shaun of the Dead, how they cover themselves in
Guts and
yeah,
whatnot.
and then they start going, oh, like how do the zombies know? It's so hilarious. But like, is that the goal? Is that what people are doing?
Maybe.
So the CDC, I covered this story earlier today, has 1,200 employees signed a letter demanding that they declare racism to be a public health crisis. Like, I don't even know what that means. But you mean to tell me the CDC has 1,200 people who all agreed with that?
Yep.
No, I think a good portion are Shaun of the Dead people rubbing the guts all over them and going, I'm a zombie too. Don't bite me.
Look how woke I am.
I don't have a brain.
I'll sign it. I bet it was 1 or 2 people. They're like, will you sign our pledge? Sure, sign. Now, please don't attack me. And now you end up with 1,200 signatures.
Yep.
It's like somebody tweeted at this to me saying, I've got a family and I've got to keep them safe. And I'm like, but you were literally not doing that. Imagine this. You're with your family in the middle of the forest in a tent, and a bear comes up and starts shredding the tents and just mauling everybody. And you're like, calm down. If we just be nice to the bear, it won't maul us after it's finished mauling everyone else.
Yeah.
I'm keeping my family safe by not doing anything to deal with the fact a bear is killing people.
Right.
And then the bear mauls everybody. And then you're like, oh no, how could this have happened? It reminds me of that meme.
Which one?
The Andre, what's his face meme? You know that meme where he shoots the guy in the couch?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's like,
how dare you make me do this?
No,
well, there's
like,
there's a million different memes.
How could
with
they
that.
do this?
Yeah,
yes.
how could they do this?
Yeah.
I'm like,
have you heard of Unwoke?
The website, the hiring website?
Yep.
Yeah.
So for companies that don't want to deal with people who are woke, it's anonymous. You get a job at, you're going to pull it up? Okay.
There it is.
Yeah. So
Here we go.
hire thinkers, not activists. Hire courageous, free-thinking, and freedom-loving individuals, not ideologues whose only agenda is to weaponize your brand and business to further a radical cause.
Check this out. Look at this.
That is some serious stuff right there.
This is interesting. Look at all of these people, and there's a lot, who have listed their skills, their resumes. You've got video editors. You've got business operations leadership, web developers, bus
120,000 a year.
Writers.
Serious jobs here.
Yeah, these are legit like careers. But you got recent college grad with certain knowledges, a manager.
Yep.
And then you can also find work. So those are employees. Here's employers. These are people looking for jobs. We're looking for people who can do these things, and we don't want woke people.
Right.
How amazing!
Yeah, this is
incredible.
Karlin Borsenko posted this up this morning. And I was like, that is dope.
Yeah.
Like that's what we need. This is more people are like, you know what? We've had enough. We're not going to hire these people. You're not welcome here anymore because needless to say, racism isn't prevalent like you're saying it is.
Well, it seems like they're trying to head it off at the pass. Like they're trying to stop it before it even starts. Don't even bring it into your company.
Right.
Which I think is great. It's a good idea.
Oh, okay. The companies are, you mean?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I told you about when I worked for the nonprofits. I did a Twitter thread about it, but I'll give the quick version.
Okay.
I used to do street canvassing. The people who walk around outside and be like, "Yo, hey, come talk to me. I'm gonna save the bears or whatever."
Yeah.
And then you fill out the form and you give me your credit card, and now you're a member for life. Not really, but you sign up for a monthly donation. I used to do that. It's a very, very taxing job because for the average person, everyone rejects you.
Yeah, I did telemarketing for a while.
There's a lot I can talk about in this field. For me and my friends, we were masters. We didn't waste our time targeting people we knew didn't want to talk to us.
Right.
So we didn't deal with this, but most people get rejected 9 out of 10 times. And that level of rejection starts demoralizing people who don't have the mental fortitude to handle that kind of rejection. Nonstop, get away from me, no, I'm sorry, not today, oh, don't talk to me.
Yeah, it was tough. Telemarketing.
So,
were you doing it on the phone?
No, street.
Oh, street
yeah, walking
canvassing.
up to people.
Oof.
Yeah.
All right.
So what happens is eventually someone gets totally demoralized, frustrated, angry. No matter what I do, it's impossible. Then they look over at me, and I'm sitting there with my eyes half glazed over and shut, and I go, "You over there, come here." And they go, "What's up?" I'm like, "Sign this out, give me your credit card." And they do. And it's like, how did he do that? So now they're watching other people do it. They can't figure it out. They get really, really, really angry.
Hey, you. Yeah. Come over here. Jump in the pool.
No, but this is
come jump in the pool.
This is part of the problem. When you would have people who would be like, "Hi there, would you like to talk about the environment?" No, I wouldn't do that.
Right.
I'd be like, yo, what up? And they'd be like, "Huh, me?" I'm like, yeah, come here. Like, why? What's up? Check us out. Here, take that. They take it. I'm like, read it. I'm like, okay. And it's just like,
boom.
Just talk to
let
people.
them do the work for you.
But so what happens is people get frustrated. It's like playing a video game where no matter what you do, you keep losing. You get really angry. Mm-hmm. They go back to the office and they're fuming. And they'll be sitting next to someone and they'll go, "This job is impossible. It's so dumb. I'm sick of it. These people, everyone is mean. Everyone is awful all the time. I hate everyone." Then that negativity spreads to someone else and they start getting anxiety. Then they go out, they hyper-focus on the negative, and the office starts breeding negativity.
Yep.
You know what the directors of the offices would do when that happens?
Fire everybody.
Fire every single person.
Everything.
They'd fire everyone,
Salt
no matter
the
what.
earth.
Yep.
Even the people who are good at it, you know why? Mm-hmm. They want to make sure no one remembered No one remembered the demoralization.
So that's very Maoist, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yep.
A little bit.
So when the new office comes in, everyone's like, they'd be like, we're just relaunching our new season campaign, and everybody always does really well.
Yeah.
Everything's the best. But then as soon as they would try and catch it fast.
Yeah.
So they would do debriefs. You'd come back, and if they're like, how are you feeling? What do you think? And as soon as you start saying things like, I don't know, it's just so hard, they'd be like, okay, well, we'll talk to you, and they'd call you, don't come back. Because they don't want you to spread that pessimism, that negativity.
Dang.
And that's ripping through the country right now. People who just wake up every morning and they go, I'm angry, I hate everything, and I want to hate more.
Ooh.
Yep.
And I wake up and I'm like, life's great. What trick do I want to do today? I get about an hour to skate. I really want to try blunt backside 180. Oh man, I'm so excited. Once I get done with work, I get to go out there and try that trick for the day.
I just want that one run, man.
Yeah, Adam's been trying a pretty beefy run.
I'll get it.
You'll get it.
I'll get it.
So when I wake up, I'm thinking like, I got my plans for the day. I got to do my work, man, And the reward is sitting there waiting to get a good skate session, get all sweaty.
Yep.
Oh, it's 90 degrees out. It's like, wow, it's hot. I'm like, great, I'll get sweaty. It's good. It's healthy.
Dripping.
Yeah, dude. Just whoa, my shirt's all drenched. Feels good. Everything can be a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've got this mangled, twisted scar on your ankle.
Yep.
From getting skateboard whacking you.
I have multiple twisted scars on my ankles now, but there's one in particular.
But we joke about
it's
it.
quite large.
You keep like you posted a photo, right?
Yeah,
where it's like
it was
just
gnarly.
blood everywhere.
Yeah, it was.
And you got a big old smile on your face.
That's true.
You're like, cool. I'm gonna post a picture of it. It's like
Actually, no, I didn't say that. You said.
I was like, you gotta post a
dude, yeah,
picture.
no, you got to post a picture, and I'm like, all right.
but there it is, man. Positive mental attitude.
It's true. Yeah.
Your ankle was covered in blood.
Yeah.
You have every reason to be like, I'm so angry. Instead, you're just like, I'll post a picture, all right, and like laughing about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, whenever one of us gets hurt, like we don't get seriously hurt, but you'll be skating, you'll fall down. One of us will just be like, you got to pay your dues.
Yep.
It's like that's just part of life,
It's true.
These people don't have that. They're like, could you imagine a skateboarder whose mentality was, I shouldn't have to get hurt ever?
That's not that doesn't exist in skateboarding.
Yeah, no.
It should be falling
no.
and skateboarding should be banned.
Whoa, how?
That's
Skateboarding is not long for this world if that's the case.
That's what I hear when they're like ban hate speech.
Well, this is what when we were skating the other day, and I was like, man, I love skateboarding. I feel like everyone needs to at least try it because there's something about getting hurt and trying to. It's not a competitive sport. You are facing only one person, and it's yourself. And
Yep.
when you're able to conquer yourself and learn something that's difficult, that is painful, that you can get bloody ankles, and if you can get past that and you land that trick, even if it's an ollie, even if it's just rolling forward, even just that is exciting.
It's actually a really funny thing. Like somehow Adam manages to hit the exact same spot like a couple times per week.
It's true.
Oh my
It's like
gosh.
it's like winning. You got to go buy a lottery ticket.
I told you I'm lucky.
It's like
You think
how
I'm
does it keep
joking?
hitting you in the same.
I am
spot?
lucky, man. I have constant luck, and I am supremely blessed because of it.
But this is funny too. Like
of course I'm lucky because it keeps hitting the same spot.
no, but this is funny. It's like your view of this injury is that it's good luck. It's that you're a lucky person.
It's true.
When you have every reason to be angry about it. Instead, it's a funny thing.
That's how I view it.
And that's funny. I think what we're describing with all this is healthy masculinity.
Okay.
Enjoying the ride with a smile on your face, the good and the bad, all the things that come with life.
That's a good point.
Maybe not even masculinity. The reason I say that is because like the idea of getting hurt, I think within reason, getting hurt feels good.
I agree.
And it's not so much that you like pain, like you're a masochist or something. It's annoying. Like you get whacked in the shin and you're like, oh, and you get angry.
Yeah.
But then you laugh and you're like, hey man, that's the name of the game. That proves you're playing. These are the risks that come with it.
Yep.
And it for me, when I get hurt skating, it reminds me of like the point of skating, that you are like when I do a trick. Mm-hmm. That fear of trying the new trick is the reward. It's like overcoming this mental and physical challenge. And when you sometimes get hurt, it's reminding you that
the road traveled.
Well, it's reminding you of what makes the game worth playing.
Exactly.
You're avoiding this.
Yes.
You don't want to get hurt. It might happen, and when it does, you're like, got me. You got me.
But when you land that trick,
you've got 5 seconds of like a dopamine rush.
of elation, yeah, it's true.
And then after that, it never comes back.
No, that's not true.
Well, no. What I mean is,
You just have to keep doing stronger and harder
exactly.
tricks.
There was a great essay I read about skateboarding, and they described like in very great detail someone doing a really difficult trick down a massive set of stairs.
Okay.
And it was written like Adrian sits atop a 7-foot tall, 10-foot long stair set. His goal right now to make the board spin 360 degrees, flipping end over end one time, catching it in midair, landing it, and riding away. And then it goes into great detail. It's like he drops the board to his feet. And then finally, when you get to the bottom of the essay, it's like, with the board now in the air, his feet firmly on it, he lands. And in that moment, he feels the greatest feeling of accomplishment he will ever feel in his life.
That's awesome.
And 3 seconds later, it's gone.
Yeah.
And he wants it again. Mm-hmm. And he can't, and he
Gotta
won't,
get high again.
He can't do the same thing to get that feeling.
Yep.
It's a good
He's
point.
already
Bigger dose,
done
man.
it.
It's a good point.
So it's like, it's all part of that challenge. If you don't have that in your life, I have to wonder. I mean, there's a lot of people, and I think there's probably some correlation between the willingness to fight, take risks, take challenges, complete challenges,
Yeah.
and wokeness and the SJWs who are unwilling and haven't. They won't do this. They think everything should be bubble wrapped.
Well, and they think all masculinity is toxic, and that couldn't be further from the truth. You
Right.
know, like there needs to be a balance in society of both.
It's toxic femininity. Toxic masculinity is like basically being purged out anyway.
Yeah.
Like you get anywhere close to it and they cancel you. But there's nothing stopping the left or toxic femininity. Femininity.
Yeah.
There's another thing too. I was thinking about this when it came to get woke, go broke concept.
Okay.
Toxic diversity.
I have
Yeah.
never heard that.
No, I was just thinking about it. I think that's
okay.
that's what I'm going to call it. So
good.
because I think diversity is a good thing.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Different people from different parts of the world with different perspectives contributing to solve a big problem like the International Space Station.
Good
we
point.
have a bunch of different nations coming together, and their different views, developments, technology, research helps make the station work.
That's absolutely true. It's a great example.
Tucker Carlson has Antifa on his show where he debates them. Diversity of
Does
opinion
he?
and thought. Oh,
yeah,
definitely.
Cool.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
know
he
that.
does.
Interesting.
That's what diversity is supposed to represent. Not just skin color, but perspective, ideas.
That reminds me of a conversation I was having today with a friend of mine. He didn't want to watch that documentary. And I was like, why? What about it that you don't want to watch? Oh, well, I heard this and that. And a few other people are saying, Candace Owens is in it. So I know what she's all about. So I'm not going to watch the documentary. It's like, so you're admitting to me, you're refusing to just even accept to view the opposing side. Well, no, I'm not done. One of the friend that I was talking to, we were talking for a while about it, and eventually got to the point where he was like, "You're right, I'll go watch it." And I was like, "Yes, go watch it and tell me, please hit me up right when you're done and call me. We'll talk."
Are these people purported supporters of Black Lives Matter?
Some of them are.
And they refuse to watch
That's
black
right.
voices speaking out.
That's correct.
Toxic diversity.
Good point. Yep,
These are
exactly.
So when you see these like movies where it's like, diversity at the expense of another group, that's toxic diversity.
Yeah.
So they're like,
good
we're gonna do a movie with a female lead, and then that female, all the men in the movie are just talking about how dumb men are. Toxic diversity. You want to
Sounds familiar.
Terry
Sounds really familiar. Where do I know that from?
name one of the
I'm
movies.
blocking it
No.
out.
There's a bunch.
We did a review on it.
I was gonna say
Terrible.
Ghostbusters.
Oh, Ghostbusters. Okay,
2016.
that's true. Yeah.
One of
No, I was
multiple.
talking about Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
But same thing.
With Ghostbusters 2016, it was criticized because they were trying to empower women at the expense of men.
Right. Exactly.
Whereas Wonder Woman allows the characters to be strong, good, or bad in their own right.
Exactly.
Real diversity.
Nailed it.
You look at Into the Spider-Verse. Miles Morales, main character,
Awesome.
mentored by an older, divorced, kind of loser Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But he's a guy with flaws.
That's true.
But he's also still a hero who does help Miles become the Spider-Man he needs to be.
That honestly, no. Now that I've saw it and I love that movie, it might be my favorite Spider-Man movie. Out of all of them. I think so.
I think so as well. 100%.
Yeah,
Well,
it
I
was
do
a great
really.
movie.
I gotta say, I love Homecoming. I'm Far From Home.
Oh yeah, those ones are pretty good too.
Yeah, Mysterio I love that. That was great.
Oh no, I haven't seen that one yet.
You haven't seen Far From Home?
No,
Dude.
I haven't.
Dude.
I gotta
But
see
look,
that.
Look.
I gotta see that.
I always love referencing the Static Shock.
I know, yeah.
Real diversity.
The story's great.
But then you get Birds of Prey, toxic diversity.
Toxic, yeah.
And this is what they do whenever. I think this is an important distinction in toxic diversity, because I think it explains what really is at issue here. I've had conversations with progressives where they're like, you just don't like, you're just supporting racists or whatever, trying to explain what authoritarian social justice is, where people are canceling, cancel culture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when talking about get woke, go broke, complaining about the Gillette commercial.
Right.
The Gillette commercial, it's not because of diversity. It's toxic.
Yep.
It's belittling one group of people, showing a bunch of men and saying what men do are bad, men are bad, man bad. It's all toxic.
Agreed.
They could have done, and what they used to do, it used to be the best a man could be, and it was like showing firefighters and like heroes.
Yeah.
But then they're like, nah, let's drag and insult the guys who buy our products. Toxic. Represent the good and show a good example of what people should be doing.
Boom.
Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. You have the Japanese, I don't know her name, but Kimiko, I think maybe. She's got the spider mech.
Oh, yeah.
You've got Spider-Man Noir. You've got
Nicolas Cage Spider-Man.
Right. That's him.
I don't know.
Nicolas Cage Spider-Man. Dude, that was awesome. I love that movie.
So good.
But nobody complained about that.
Yeah.
There were some people for sure. But,
Was there? I don't know.
because racists exist.
That's true.
But the movie's overwhelmingly positive. Everybody loves it.
Yeah, it's
and
a
then
great movie.
the other funny thing too is like with The Last of Us 2, it's
Right.
getting a lot of bad reviews. And it's funny when people are like, these men just don't like seeing strong women. And then people are like, The Last of Us has like an add-on DLC.
Okay.
Nobody complained about that.
The first one?
Yeah. No. So the first game has an addition, as like an add-on
DLC, yeah.
where you play as Ellie and,
okay.
and another girl, I guess. I don't know a lot about it. But then people reference a ton of games with strong female leads, and they're like, gee, I wonder why it is why no one's complaining about these games.
That's a good point.
Maybe there's something toxic about how these games go about their storytelling
Yep.
that you won't accept. So I'll tell you what I'm about to do. I will absolutely accept there's toxic masculinity.
Yeah. Well, there is.
Macho bros who refuse to accept fault for anything, who think they're better than everyone else. They're egotists. They're bullies.
Boom.
And then there's real masculinity. The dude who, runs full speed to like push a kid out of the way of a car before the car hits him.
Or the man that caught that baby from the fire.
Seriously.
The fire.
Yeah.
Amazing.
What a boss. It's like, yeah, he ran over and caught that baby. Like, awesome.
Or how about a firefighter in general?
Good
who
point.
Runs into a burning building
Yep.
with the real risk to their life, or the police officer who runs towards the gunfire.
Yep.
Real masculinity.
Yeah.
Toxic masculinity is unearned, arrogant, dominant behavior. You know what I think? I think toxic masculinity is when you cheat to be a man.
Good call. Yeah. That's a good point.
Whereas someone who's truly masculine would, like a tree, a moderately sized tree is about to fall down on a kid, and he runs over and he grabs it, and he's like, "Argh," and he's like risking himself, and he's like trying to stop the tree from crushing a kid.
Yep.
Superhero stuff.
Like from Game of Thrones, it's like the king that needs to yell and scream that he's the king is no
Yes.
king at all.
100%.
Toxic masculinity
right?
is the guy who brags and lies and pretends like he's better than everyone else to assert his masculinity, versus the guy who keeps his mouth shut and is just,
Who just simply is the king.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, man. And then there's toxic femininity. It's toxicity. I think we need to call out toxic diversity.
That's great. I like that a lot.
I
Toxic
love
diversity.
that.
Yeah, it's solid. We gotta
Diversity
talk about it.
is when someone rags on white people, for the sake of like, I'm not racist, and then they do, what is that mute white people button on Instagram?
Right.
Toxic diversity.
Toxic.
Blaming Asians for their success and saying that we should be allowed to discriminate against them in schools.
Right.
Toxic diversity.
Exactly.
You are not actually trying to help people solve these problems, end poverty. You are just being racist.
Yep.
It's toxicity.
This makes me think of what I said yesterday. People need to stop confusing holding people accountable for their actions or lack of actions with racism, because it's not the same thing.
Right.
It's toxic.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
People do bad things, and they're like, you can't criticize them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's toxic diversity.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's what I think is happening. We've got to throw it to Jordan Peterson, I guess. We don't know where the line is. So our brands, our institutions will not draw a line and say that's too far.
Yep.
We know when the right goes too far. We know when men go too far. What
Yep.
about women? Literally, I've heard attempts at defining toxic femininity from many people, and they can't do it.
Well, there's actually a rise of I'm seeing this, and like Amber Heard, for example, she's it's probably the biggest case of the opposite side of it, and I'm seeing tweets that are flowing around about how men don't complain, they don't because of their masculinity. When they get abused, they're more inclined to go, I'm not gonna let this affect me, or complain about it, so it kind of like gets swept under the rug, like it doesn't exist when it clearly does.
I would define toxic femininity as wrapping an entire room in bubble wrap, putting your kids, wrapping pillows around their body, banning all naughty words, banning all hate speech, banning all roughhousing, and then just like suspending them from a series of elastic straps so that an earthquake wouldn't hurt them and they just don't move.
Yes.
It's like the most extreme version of protecting someone possible.
You know who I know this pisses off?
Who?
Lydia.
Lydia?
You know how I know?
I could
Because of
see,
my face.
I could see. No, I could see you're on the edge of your seat.
Yeah,
like,
I literally go up on the edge
this
of my seat. It's
pisses
true.
me off.
So it ticks me off. Tim's right about wrapping people in bubble wrap, but there's a savage element, and it's not the kind of masculine savagery. It's not on the front lines. It's underneath. It is sneaky. It is manipulative. I really don't like it because I've seen it. And sometimes,
so a feminine savagery, you mean, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, it's under the surface.
And
subliminal savagery.
Well,
yes,
that's
I like that.
It's so I think about, if you want to use the word masculinity and femininity, what they're supposed to represent. The masculine is going out on the hunt. The feminine is nurturing and caring and providing for the family. Both can be toxic. The arrogant guy who bullies people and pushes them around and thinks he's better than everyone else is toxic. The mother that refuses to allow their children to grow up and experience the world, wraps them in bubble wrap and snowplows everything, is toxic.
Yep.
You are not helping the children survive. You're not helping anybody.
The
Right.
evil mother.
Yeah.
They're not preparing them for real life.
Yep.
What it's really like out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not fair
It's toxic.
to the kids.
And then there's also, of course, the manipulative, but you know what? I don't necessarily equate that with feminism. Lying to steal resources is not masculine or feminine.
I'm talking about using your wiles and using your brains to get what you want. I'm not talking about controlling like means and outcomes.
I'm saying
and stuff
I don't
like that.
see that has anything to do with
You don't think
female
so?
or femininity. No.
Interesting.
No, because men do it. You've got confident, charismatic men who sell snake oil.
That's true.
They'll walk up and be like, this year, this guy right here, vote for him, and he'll end racism.
So that just sounds like toxic character. Yes, where's my like button? Wait, hold on.
We gotta bind that like button real fast.
Oh, yes.
There we go.
My like button. Oh, I love my like button. Yes. Okay. What are we talking about?
We were supposed to talk about Trump's calling in federal forces into.
Oh my gosh.
What happened with that?
That was like an hour
That was a
ago.
long
Well,
time
because
ago.
I was thinking usually it's better to wait to the middle so that everyone can come in and normally we'll go up to about 9. So let's jump to this, the main
Okay.
the main thing we wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Exclusive. President Trump threatens federal action in violent Democrat-run cities. Town Hall says during an exclusive interview with Town Hall from the White House Tuesday, President Trump warned his administration will take action if Democratic mayors and governors can't get crime under control. They are cities run by liberal Democrats. We're now looking at having to do something. We have to be asked to go into a city like Chicago, which is so ridiculous, where they had like 68 shootings and 18 deaths over the weekend. It's not even comprehensible. Worse than Afghanistan. Worse than any war zone. Nightmarish? Can you check off your bingo cards now for Tim Pool saying the word nightmare,
Yes.
dystopia?
I have it. Yep, on the right.
There you go.
Checked.
Done.
There it is. There
Got
it is. We're supposed to be asked. She is supposed to call the mayor, Lightfoot, Lori. She's supposed to call and say, we need your help. We call her. Would you like to have us come in? And they don't want us. And I say, what's going on? During the interview, Trump said police in cities like Chicago and New York City aren't allowed to do their jobs and are terrified of legal action. We are going to have to do something very comprehensive. It means sending people in. It means sending people in to clean up. There's a point at which we're allowed to go in, and that point is rapidly being reached. There's a point at which we will have to do it because we just have to do it for the good of the country. When asked about what threshold must be met before federal action is taken, the president said carnage and death is his standard. I'm pretty sure we're past that.
Chicago's. It's funny because Chicago was the most dangerous city in America for a while, and then it started to get a little bit better for a little bit there for a couple years, and man, is it a war zone again.
It's getting worse,
and it's getting worse. And this makes a good point. Like, the cops aren't allowed to do their job for fear, and they're terrified of legal action. I watched a video of NYPD training of what they have to go through, and they are now not allowed to do most non-lethal tactics anymore, like leaning on their chest, leaning on their back, sitting on them. Like, I get the, you don't want people to kill anybody, but they're now riding between not doing anything and the only means, which is pulling their gun when they're in fear of their life, which is the last thing I want. I don't want people pulling guns. I don't want them to have to use lethal force.
I think Crowder was talking about this, like the use of chokeholds is a less lethal tactic for de-escalation.
Didn't he choke out one of his?
Yes, yeah, he did.
Let's not do that on this show.
Can we not?
But like, do you know kids would play the pass out game?
No.
Do you remember that?
No.
I'm not going to explain what they do, but they purposely made themselves pass out. They would go in like
Smart.
In grade school. They'd be like, and then they'd fall over, and everyone would laugh.
Is this another one of those TikTok challenges?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay.
But this is back when I was a kid.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it's basically how to do a chokehold.
The original TikTok, real life.
Yeah.
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 Well, they were doing the skull breaker challenge.
Yeah, terrible.
Make someone jump and then knock. Jeez, man, these kids are nuts. But anyway, Trump sending in the troops. You see, in Oregon, as soon as the feds came in to defend federal jurisdiction, the federal courthouse, Trump's occupying the army. That's what they said.
Yeah, this annoys me because they've been. It's always this back and forth game. They keep going with Trump. They're like, how come he's not doing anything? And he's like, I'll do something if you want me to. And they're like, how dare he try to do something at all? And he's like, okay, I'll back off. How dare he say he's going to back off? Like, and it's just like back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
I hope American people can see this.
Oh, I think they can, man.
They're like,
I'm fairly certain.
Donald Trump says, I'm going to go in and we're going to clean up COVID. We got serious problems. And they're like, you have no right. You have no authority over the states. You can't tell them what to do.
Right.
You can't shut them down. Now they're like, it's all Trump's fault.
How dare he not shut all the states down? How dare he?
It's the weirdest thing that New York is the problem.
And New Jersey.
Both
of them.
Those are the big problems.
Yep.
And why are they blaming Trump for this?
Yeah, why?
He can't control what the governors did. And the governors locked down.
Right.
And then they did a bunch of other really messed up things.
And while they were doing it, they had their chins high. They said, I dare you to do something, Trump. I dare you.
And the riots,
bring
man.
it on.
You know what, man? I think
But it's all his fault.
I don't think people realize exactly where we are in terms of the dramatic escalation. I think I was watching Knowing with Nicolas Cage. We were watching Knowing.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a 20-year-old movie, so spoiler alert. The planet blows up. I don't know, there's like a solar flare. But there's a scene at the end of the movie where the solar flare hits and it shows you like an overview of New York with the fire sweeping across. You could be standing in like Battery Park at southern tip of Manhattan Island and not realize that in 1 minute a giant wave of fire was going to blow you up.
Yeah.
And so people are standing there just doing nothing, not realizing, and then a minute later they're gone. I think that's where we're at. I think the figurative meteor has slammed into the planet already, and the wave is now sweeping across, but people don't realize how bad it already is.
That's a good point.
I think we're really close to Donald Trump. I think we're closer to Presidential Directive 51 we've ever been to. I think there's a really good possibility come November, Trump is gonna.
Was that Bush who put that into place?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It was like I think it was in 07.
Okay.
Could be wrong, but I think we're really close to Trump enacting Presidential Directive 51, which would reform the government and create a continuity coordinator and dissolve and restructure it due to catastrophe.
I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if most of the country was like, oh, finally. Seriously.
Yeah. Well, so with the threat of war, with the chaos in the streets, when I mentioned this several times, the CDC having these employees.
Yeah.
If the CDC declares racism a public health crisis, what does that mean?
I have no idea.
Are we going to get to the point where I've mentioned before, like, you must destroy your copy of the Constitution because it was made by racists and racism is killing people. You don't want to kill people, do you? Well, then you can't support racism, right?
That's funny. I was listening to a speech from Obama, and he said, if anyone has any doubts that America isn't amazing, that and you can do anything, that our forefathers didn't make this happen, let there be no more doubts.
Yeah.
And it's like, that wasn't that long ago.
Right.
Like, where did that happen? What? Like, imagine if Trump said that right now. Imagine if Trump said that right now. People would flip.
Yep.
And it's like,
We had two
what's the difference? It's true.
terms of Obama.
Right.
That means people who voted for Trump voted for Obama. People that voted for Obama then went on to vote for Trump.
That's true.
But they're all racists. I look at what's going on, and I think there's a hurricane of brewing, man.
Yeah.
It's made landfall, and people are sitting there thinking, I'm just going to sit back and wait for this to all. Let's do another Shaun of the Dead reference. The zombie apocalypse is here. Yes. They're romping about. They're smashing people. They're biting and killing. Mm-hmm. And you get these people who are like, let's go to the Winchester and wait for this to all blow over. And so they go to the pub and think the zombies won't come. The zombies do come. And so I think it's substantially worse than people realize.
Yeah.
When you see, what's going on with the rioting, with COVID. Let's talk about the economy. The stocks are skyrocketing right now. So I have the only stock I have is Square. Actually, this was a funny little disclaimer we did at the beginning of the Joe Rogan podcast with Dorsey. I was like, full disclosure, I've got a small amount of Square stock because he's the CEO.
Yes.
It is doubled.
Wow.
In like 2 months. Doubled. That's insane.
Yeah, that's.
I wonder
that's
if these are death throes. Yeah. So listen, mortgage, housing payments were missed 32%. People aren't paying rent. People aren't working. Yeah, jobs are coming back and all that stuff. But I've mentioned this before, man. When the economy was just stopped by all these governors, not by Trump, the train doesn't just go boop and stop. Every car starts ramming into the next, and all that energy gets transferred, and the whole train just starts flipping over and crashing off the tracks. You can't just stop it. So the damage that's hit the tax base. It's funny. New York City says, we're going to defund the police by $1 billion. You know what I think?
They needed that money elsewhere.
They needed that money elsewhere. Bingo.
Yep.
The trains are collapsing.
Sure,
The
we'll
city's
defund it because we were so broke.
And de Blasio's going, thank you. Thank you for giving me an excuse. We are in serious trouble.
Yep.
And people are fleeing. I went on a Zillow.com real estate website. In the past 30 days, New York City, 7,600 entries for real estate for sale.
Wow.
Do you know how many?
Sale?
Do you know how many? Do you know how many listings there were in the 2 months before? 5,000.
100. Oh, 5,000?
In the two.
It went. I'm sorry. Did you say 750,000?
7,600.
Oh, 7,000. Okay.
So listen.
It didn't go up that much then.
In 2 months, you had about 5,000 listings.
Yeah.
The next month, which was last month, 7,600.
Whoa.
That's a pretty big bump.
What happened in the last month? That
That's a lot of buildings.
Tripled.
Yeah.
The amount of listings. It's not just buildings; it's condos and residences.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it's the collapse, man. A lot of these people probably already left. They're no longer paying taxes to the city or the state. Now they're selling their property. Good luck selling it. The prices are going to collapse. When that happens, the tax base has already been eroding. They were already in trouble. That's just New York.
You know what they're gonna rename the city New Flint.
New Flint.
Yep.
It's going to be like Detroit.
Yep.
They're not going to be able to support the clean water. Well, I think New York's water source is actually really clean, and they're lucky because it comes from up north in the mountains and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
But New York was already hurting. Then COVID happened. Then the riots happened. The economy is in really bad shape, more than anyone realizes. Now Trump, I believe, is obligated to be optimistic, because if he came out and said it's worse than you realize, people would panic. That would lead to more destruction.
Good point.
I think Trump's best he can do is tout the good numbers. But what does the media do? No matter what happens,
I know
it's bad. It's like, record-breaking jobs month, and they're like, this is actually, not true because these were furloughs and Trump's just lying. It's like, can you let people have this one? Can you take the win?
Can you let the American people think that at least?
But
because who cares about Trump at this moment? Let the American people have a little bit of hope.
Confidence.
Huh? How about that?
Confidence. They can start working.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Things will recover. But I'm going to be honest, and I'm not trying to say this to be a naysayer or pessimistic.
Oh man.
But look at.
Go ahead, say it. Just say it. What were you going to say?
Mortgage-backed securities.
What were you going to say?
I'm saying it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, people aren't paying their mortgages. What happens when the mortgages go delinquent? The banks default on their the loans default.
Yep.
Then the banks default, and we get 07 again.
That's true.
So
and guess whose fault it's gonna be? In the mainstream media, and guess who they're gonna blame?
No. I think it's COVID. I think there's nothing that could be done. It's nobody's fault. Now, we can blame the Democratic governors for a lot of things, particularly putting COVID patients in nursing homes. But now that they're demanding these ridiculous restrictions, I gotta say, man, first and foremost, don't you get your health advice from your doctor and nobody else.
Period.
Nobody else. But maybe Trump is right. There was like a leaked memo where apparently Trump is saying we're gonna have to learn to live with this. Like, COVID is here. We can't just stop. The economy has to function.
It's true.
And maybe he's right.
I mean, this whole thing about people being upset about masks is most people wear masks. Most people wear masks. I don't mind wearing a mask.
There are people who don't wear masks. Some high-profile
There
people,
are
too.
some people that don't wear masks. That's
High-profile
very
ones.
true. But for the most part, nobody cares about wearing a mask. We'll wear a mask if we need to.
Trump wore a mask.
People want to work again. They need to get back to work. Period.
Yep.
We need to make it happen.
But that ripple from when the meteor dropped into that water,
Yep.
that's that damage from the economy from the initial COVID lockdown.
You're right.
It's going to rip apart everything. It's going to. This is the craziest thing to me when I see these activists posting things like print money, and I'm just sitting here like
That whole thing.
Listen. Alyssa Milano, that's you saw that?
Yeah, I did.
When she was like, "We are not going back to school. We're going to just print money and give it to people." There's no reasoning with her rage.
Nope.
She's addicted to it.
You're right.
And that idea of just not working, sitting back and printing money leads to one thing: the end of America.
Yep.
It's not an
Absolutely.
exaggeration. It's not hyperbolic to say.
No.
If you just keep printing money and no one produces, you will have hyperinflation, and this will have a profound detrimental effect on the rest of the planet.
Hyperinflation and no products to even
Exactly.
But nothing will be worth anything.
That's why the money becomes worthless.
And what happened in Venezuela?
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened in Venezuela.
What can you do with your money? Let's say someone gave you $1 million right now. What would you do? Now, for now, you could buy a Tesla.
I'd
You could
buy a house. I'd buy a house. I'd
There's
buy
things you
land.
can do. Could you go to an infinity pool on a rooftop bar?
Probably.
No, you can't,
Why not?
because they're closed.
Ah.
They're relocking everything down.
That's a
Can't
good
do
point.
it.
The point
That's a
is
good
that
point.
these luxury items that gave the money value in the first place.
I'm pretty sure with $1 million I could do it though.
I'm not convinced. Because it's a lot of these people who have access to this are part of the anti-Trump, shut it all down train.
Good point.
They're going to be like, "What are you, crazy? I'm not going to risk grandma's life for you." Now, I'm sure there are a bunch of rich people who know where to go and do their thing. You know what I mean? The point is, $1 million, okay, maybe over the top. If you had $100, could you go to the bar down the street, sit down, have a pint? You can't.
Nope.
So how much value does the money have if services have been erased?
It has less
It
already.
has less value.
Yeah.
So then when someone says, "I'll give you $100," you can go, "I can't even do anything with $100.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Buy a bag of potatoes? Okay, how about $200? I guess I can get 2 bags of potatoes.
Right.
Fine, I'll take $200. The less the dollar can do, the less value it has. It's as simple as basic understanding of reality. If you had a machine that could drive, it could be a boat, a car, or a plane. That's a valuable machine,
Yep.
especially if it's very safe. That's got to be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yep.
Look at a regular car versus a Tesla. The more versatile, the more it can do, the more valuable it is.
That's a good point.
U.S. dollar works the same way.
Yep.
If you can't buy anything with it, what were we trying to order? Skateboards?
Yep.
A specific skateboard sold out.
Sold out.
Can't get them.
Yep.
So what? It's like if someone came to me and said, obviously you need money for food, but there was a point I made before. What if you have food? What if you work at a market, you have a bunch of excess food you can't get rid of because business has been slowed down,
Yep.
and someone comes and says, "I'll give you $100 to do a thing." You're gonna be like, I got food. I don't know what I would do with it. Everything's shut down. I don't drive anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'll take it. Money's money.
Yeah.
At a certain point, if we lose, so right now people still have confidence in the dollar, so the dollar will have value. But what happens they're saying it's going to be another 9 or 12 months of lockdown. What happens in a year of continued lockdown, and then it gets to the point where people start losing confidence and they say, "I mean, I could take your dollars, but I can't really do anything with them." So
I don't
do you have
understand
anything
because
else?
looking at the death rates, the whole now no one's talking about the death rates at all. It's like non-existent. No one's talking about it because
They're really low.
no one's dying anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it exists, But it's like the one story, like, wow, so this one person died today of COVID, and it's like, that's it, one person. Like, isn't that fantastic? Yeah, because people can have it because it's like a regular coronavirus. Like the term coronavirus has been weaponized now.
Yeah,
it's craziness.
I think we're in trouble, and it almost feels like there are people who are so dumb they don't realize you have the choice between people are going to get sick and they're going to die,
yep,
and Trump, or lock everyone in their homes
and everyone will die worse,
and just strip everyone's resources away and just
wither and die.
What do you do about a person like Alyssa Milano who doesn't realize? It's like, imagine you found somebody who was like, blind, deaf, and dumb, and they're just like totally incapable, and you just put their finger on a trigger for a nuclear bomb. You can't reason with them. They don't know. They're gonna go just not knowing what the. Alyssa Milano's got tons of followers. She has no idea what she's talking about, but she's angry, and she's firing off 50 cals in random directions. Just print money, and it's like, you're destroying everything.
Yep.
Stop. No, because Orange Man is bad.
Yep.
That's what's gonna happen. All these people on Twitter. You know what, man? It's like, if I was targeting a foreign country, working for a military or whatever, you could not ask for a more perfect outcome.
It's true.
To destabilize and destroy your enemy.
You're absolutely right.
Having a bunch of people demand the government do nonsensical things that destroy their own country, and they're doing it. And there's no reasoning with them because they're addicted to anger.
You're absolutely right.
How do we pull out of this tailspin?
I'm trying to figure the answer.
Presidential Directive 51.
Every single day, I try to figure it out. Thomas Sowell is an economist. I watch try to do a new interview every single day that I didn't watch before. He's an incredibly smart man that everyone needs to go listen to.
I think we're close to the point where we end up with hardcore authoritarianism from the right.
Yeah, but knowing, I mean, I've been diving into Trump lately, and I know the type of person he is. I don't think that he wants that. I agree. I think he believes in the American life, the American freedom, the American way, the dream of being an American.
I think both sides are at a point where there's no reconciliation.
Good point.
And both are going to demand of their own faction. The only way to save our country is to violently purge the other side.
It's a shame.
The conversations I've had with people, I'm sure the conversations you've had, when you see children disowning their parents disowning their children or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, how do we get past that? I think November is going to be a hoot, to say the least.
I think so too, man. I think it's going to be. I got
to learn how to ride a horse.
Not only November. I think going from this point to November, it's just going to get crazier and crazier.
Yeah, dude.
This has been the craziest year of my life, hands down.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure everyone can say that.
Everyone.
Most people can say that.
Let's jump over to the super chats.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
David Holguin says, you three give this American-Mexican conservative hope for the future. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Glad you enjoyed the show.
I hope that is still true at this point.
BG says, read today that there are 17 million plus primary votes for Trump across 31 states so far. Previous incumbent record is 99 million. Is this a sign of support growth, or is it explained by the base's enthusiasm, or both? Both, I'd imagine. Both.
Definitely.
I think there's probably some other factors in there as well.
I think it's going to be a landslide. I got a hefty super chat from Eternal Genju here. He says, with regards to masculine versus feminine archetypes, manipulating others to resolve your issues is inherently a feminine means, according to evolutionary psychology. It was needed when they had to rear child. Tim's confusion is because only feminine methods of attack are allowed now.
Perhaps.
Interesting, yeah.
Somebody, Harpoon Trading says, Tim Pool equals Ben Shapiro in disguise. Changed my mind. I think I'm substantially less Jewish than Ben Shapiro.
I think so, yeah.
Good point.
That's
a good point.
A lot more Asian.
a lot
A
more.
lot, yeah.
Yeah. You know what's funny is like the videos I've seen of Ben Shapiro,
mm-hmm.
the ones that get recommended to me or the ones that people share, I almost always agree with. But then when I actually watch him in his full, I'm like, wow, I disagree with him a lot.
Okay.
A lot. He's got a lot of religious positions, for instance.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I think the sharing of certain libertarian and liberty-minded ideals, American freedom stuff,
Yep.
that overlap allows us to be like, I agree. Like, that's great. I appreciate what he's saying.
Freedom.
Yeah.
I actually think you guys might have similar personalities.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I came up with. I know you guys disagree on a lot.
Probably.
I've only just started listening to him, and because there was an interview with Jordan Peterson and Shapiro, and David Rubin was kind of moderating it, and it was insightful.
Great.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here. Ario says, I'm a couple minutes behind live, but I would define toxic femininity as the rejection of anything considered to be masculine without reasonable discretion under the guise of it being toxic or being part of the patriarchy. Well, that's just, I think that derives from it. That
Kind of scratches the surface.
Yeah,
Well,
it's like
that's a
it is
function of it.
true. Yes, right. But it's so much more than just that.
Yeah.
I think toxic femininity breeds that, but it's something else.
Good point.
Justin says, drugs never should have been treated as a criminal issue. They should have been treated as a mental health issue.
Boom.
Smash the like button.
Smash that
Yeah,
like
man.
button. Oh, were you saying, or did they say that?
They said it.
Nice. Smash.
Smash it. Villa Music Dude says, hey guys, Peter Schiff had predicted 2008, and I believe Robert Kiyosaki was on the same train.
Huh.
Listen to what he has to say. He was on Joe Rogan today. Episode should release tomorrow. Schiff was Ron Paul's economic advisor. What did he say? What does he say?
We will find out.
Is it the end?
tomorrow.
Well, I don't know who that
Do I
is,
buy
so
gold?
I will
gosh.
look that up.
Tim.
What?
He's saying a U.S. dollar crisis is much closer than people think. When it hits, it's game over. No more can kicking. The piper must be paid. So
does
he's
that
literally
mean?
saying what you're saying. The U.S. dollar, if it's worthless, it's over. It's over. It's
I
totally
think
done.
maybe
if we're
the-
printing money.
We must stop printing money
I
Yeah.
think one of the reasons stocks are skyrocketing right now,
because they're switching from money to stocks.
and because at least in the stock, at least the stocks control the actual production of some kind of resource.
Good point.
But I don't know. I don't
you
know.
must be watching our show too, because that was 30 minutes ago.
Oh wow. I wonder if
We're on fire tonight,
Yeah,
Tim.
man.
if you have a company that literally can produce a thing,
Yeah.
is owning a part of that more valuable than having just a piece of green paper?
You know, the thing.
That thing.
The thing you produce.
Look fat. Look fat. A dollar crisis, man.
Yep.
I don't know if y'all have noticed, but I'm going to give you a hint. If you watch any of my videos, and even some of these, you'll notice advertisements. Those advertisements tell you what I've been searching for.
Yes.
And
I
there's been
noticed it.
I can see it.
two big things.
I noticed it.
Do you know what the first big thing is?
Skate ramp.
Skate ramp. Do you know what the second big thing is?
Gold.
Gold.
Oh, yeah.
Skateboard ramps. We got these ramps that are like really easy to build, but I don't want to call them cheap. We'll call them inexpensive.
They're pretty legit.
They're okay. Yeah, I mean,
They're not like permanent.
the real mini ramp we have, skate light and everything, it's from Keen Ramps.
Yeah,
It's
I love it.
amazing. One of the best ramps I've ever skated. I'm really
so
impressed.
nice.
So smooth.
Yeah, I love
And
it.
then we got the Ramp Tech ones. For what they are, they're incredible,
They're pretty legit.
but they're inexpensive, easy to build, and they're good. They're good.
They're fun. I really enjoy them.
But if you've got the budget, man, Keen Ramps, that's fantastic company. Fantastic. They got really good stuff. Let's read some more of
The
these
best.
super chats.
The best.
Tracy Nolan says, breaking report, 33 Florida labs were just busted, cooking the books, reporting 98% positive rates rather than 9.8. What?
Yep.
Is that true?
Huh.
It is.
Interesting.
Can you?
I'm gonna look it
I want
up.
to find. I want a hard source on that.
We were talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want a hard source. I want to put. a hard
COVID
source.
numbers, man. You gotta spike them up through the roof to make people afraid.
Yep. Fox News.
Fox News
They
says
are
it?
not reporting negative test results. That would skew things a little bit.
Wow.
Holy cow.
So it's all positive because that's
Yep.
the only thing.
100%.
Amazing.
Nice.
Jeremy
Excellent.
Boone says, what is your take on how the military and police will react if your proposed civil war scenario takes place? Both have oaths to support and defend the Constitution. They take very seriously. I'll tell you what's going to happen. When the mob showed up to the McCloskeys' house and started, threatening and screaming and breaking the fence, and the McCloskeys on their own property with their constitutionally protected right to bear arms and Castle Doctrine law said, get off my property, the police showed up and seized Mark McCloskey's rifle. The police just did what the mob told them to do. They did not serve the Constitution. They said, sorry, we know there's a Constitution, but our oath is to follow orders, not the law. What happened when the governors locked down all of these businesses in violation of the Constitution? And Bill de Blasio himself said no protests allowed, except for Black Lives Matter. The police said, sorry, The Constitution is something we wipe our butts with, not actually swear an oath to.
Oh, that's what that is.
But what's that directive? Directive
51.
51. Right. So if he actually enacts that and takes over,
I'll tell
and
you,
goes, these are your orders now.
they'll all say yes.
I know they will.
Pathetic. The McCloskeys licked the boot of these police officers because, in my opinion, they're pathetic. You don't have to. I'm not saying defy. I'm saying when the police showed up to your house and said, we're seizing your rifle,
Stand your
you
ground.
say no. You say, okay,
Yeah.
serve the warrant,
Yep.
have a nice day, and F you. Not, I know you're sorry about this. They're sorry. They're violating the Constitution on your own property, Castle Doctrine law, and Second Amendment, and you're just going to be like,
They're
these nice
lawyers.
police officers are just doing their jobs.
They should
Well,
know.
they're lawyers, and they clearly want to abide by the law.
Yes,
And
that's
it's
not
like-
what I'm talking about at all.
No,
By all
I
means,
know,
abide
but
by the
I'm
law.
just pointing that out, though, Tim.
Yep.
That's all I'm doing.
But they should know.
And they should absolutely abide by the law, as should everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can condemn the police for just following orders.
Yep.
You can condemn the government. You can condemn all of them. And they're saying, we're not going to blame the police for just doing their job. And then I had people tweeting at me when I said this. They were like, you got to strike at the root, which is the prosecutors and the government. No, the root references the smallest bit that leads up to the trunk of the tree. Each individual officer who says, I will tear up the Constitution when asked, that's the problem. If every single officer, like we saw the sheriffs in Virginia and across the country, said, I will not enforce unconstitutional laws.
Yep.
If every city cop
In
said
Ohio, in Florida, in
They've done it.
Texas.
Right.
Yep.
I've seen it all over the place.
Right.
That they're like,
Exactly.
no way, we're not going to be the mask
Exactly.
police.
So,
Sorry, no.
to clarify, when it comes to the big cities and conflict breaks out, the governors are gonna call for unconstitutional things, and the police are gonna have a smile on their face as they stomp the boot on yours.
I don't know. New York had 400,000 applicants to retire because
400,000.
some crazy maybe
it was
I don't-
up like 400% or something.
or maybe that's what it
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
400%, some sort of an incredible increase that they had to like stop it. They were like, sorry, no one can retire right now.
Retirements.
No,
No
listen,
one
listen.
can retire.
I'm not saying that all cops are bad.
Right.
A lot of cops are gonna say no. They're gonna quit.
Right.
They're gonna blue flu. They're gonna turn the other way.
Yeah.
They're not gonna enforce it. But there will be cops. Here, I'll clarify this. There will absolutely be police who care not for the Constitution at all.
Yeah, yeah.
They're going to be like, look, man, I get paid $27,000 a year. All right. I'm going to just do what I'm told because I got to go back to my parents' basement after this. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not trying to make fun of it.
Yeah,
In
that
New York,
stinks.
this is a huge story
That
in
really
New York.
sucks.
That a lot of the cops that they hire get paid trash wages and live at their parents' homes.
So they
It
don't
was a big
care.
story. So they're going to be like, I don't know, man. I just got to do my thing.
Right.
There will be, it's really funny. The small town cops, probably the bulk in this country of police,
Yep.
are refusing.
No doubt. Yeah, I just looked it up. It was 400% increase
Yeah.
in
In
retirement
retirements?
in New York. NYPD.
Oh, yeah. I think I did see that.
They're like, we're out of here.
Yep.
This
Yeah.
is this is
It's not
insane.
working.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're like we put our lives on the line.
Let me rephrase this to clarify. There's going to be patriots and there's going to be stormtroopers. The stormtroopers are the people who will stay in the government and just do whatever they're told in defiance of the Constitution. And the patriots will be people who either resign or join up and say, we will not allow you to destroy the law. You must follow the law. There's so many cops in these cities are breaking the law and don't care.
Yep.
They would rather follow orders than the law. But who will hold the governor accountable for unlawful order? Isn't it true that people in the military have a requirement to defy unlawful orders?
I don't know. We'll look it up.
Somebody tweeted that saying this is one of the big problems. Like in the military,
Go ahead.
if you're given an unlawful order, you say no. It's against the law.
Right.
In the police, though, are just like,
I mean,
sure.
they took an oath to defend this country to anything, foreign and domestic.
Right.
That's in the oath, isn't it?
I
Yeah.
believe. Yeah.
I think so. I don't know.
You know, it's interesting too because these there's a particular somebody who has been quite vocal on my Facebook page, and yet can't stand the governor. Like I'm like, well, here's this information from your governor. Like, how do you describe? Oh, well, the governor's the worst, man. He's the worst. And it's like, well, why are you fighting me? Why? What are you fighting right now? I don't understand because what I'm saying. I'm with you. He is the worst. That's what I'm saying right now. The Democrats are ruining these countries or these cities.
Yeah, cities.
You know, these states. Basically, they are. They're ruining them.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
I'm gonna jump back to make sure I don't miss any of the earlier super chats.
Sure.
Long Dong John says, would Section 230 reform still help if the social media platforms decide to offshore? Can it be enforced against what would be what would then be foreign companies? Yes, they wouldn't be able to operate. But it's interesting because I don't think they would just block the website. So I have no idea how that would work. That's one of the problems.
Something to think about.
I'd be willing to bet that Facebook's going to go, okay, we'll go to China.
Yep.
Congratulations. Did you get? What else do you do? The Brat says, my favorite podcast, eclipsing Beauty and the Beta. Tim, no matter who you vote for, still love you. Lydia TY for having a camera to see you. Adam, a heartbreaker. Soy Jesus, spin that S hit.
Oh.
Yeah.
I hear you. I'm going to spin that S it.
The Joker 201 says, you keep telling us to speak up, but you have the platform to lead. How can we stand up without support of people? If every single person, literally every single person who opposed cancel culture just went out in the street right now and started yelling no cancel culture,
Yep.
the whole country would change overnight.
Right.
But everyone keeps saying they believe in the silent majority but won't say anything because they don't actually believe in the silent majority. If you believed the silent majority was real, you would go on your porch right now and yell MAGA or Trump.
That is exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I am doing that right now. I'm challenging the people that I know personally in my life, challenging them to do their own research. And for the people who say this to us, that we have a platform to lead, what do you think we're doing here? What do you think we're doing? We're critically thinking about the problems that are facing us right now. If you're here, you are part of the conversation, and you are doing it too. And that's what we need.
But you need to look. If you work for a company and someone comes to your office or to your cubicle or to your station and they're like, we want you to sign this letter, then you should say no. I think that'll put a target on my back, and I'm really scared about the state of politics right now, and I think this is inappropriate for our workplace. I respect what you're saying. I understand, but I think you're going to put me in harm's way, and that scares me. That's a neutral way to actually challenge this. You have so many companies where they're going to put out these brand statements. Brand respects group of people. And you don't have to come out and say MAGA, Trump, free speech, and all that stuff, and I refuse, or Blue Lives Matter, or defend the police. You can literally be like, I think you're putting me at risk. I think you're going to make the white supremacists come after me. Don't do it. Stop. And that's enough to stop, the extremism, this constant spread of this ideology. When it comes to the people roaming the streets, there needs to be protests. Now, to be fair, Blue Lives Matter protests were massive across the country. There were big protests this past weekend or whatever.
Mm-hmm. There was.
Yeah. And then I even have a story right now, I think. Did I actually pull it up? Yeah. Look at this. Pro-police agitators and Black Lives Matter protesters clash in Brooklyn. Look at this. Agitators.
And protesters.
Protesters.
Mm-hmm.
But at least the people came out to defend what they thought was right. Pro-police agitators. Oh, spare me.
They're protesting.
Yep. They're all protesting.
Everybody.
But that's where, look, that's where it starts.
Time
and
magazine.
You're up against the media.
Great narrative.
Seriously.
Nice
More of
narrative.
this,
Time
yeah.
magazine.
Sounds familiar.
I used to respect you. Look
what they say about
Shame on you.
Dave Rubin. You know what I mean? The things they say about this guy.
Yeah.
He's like, he hosts a talk show, and they accuse him of platforming people. It's like, so they'll accuse him of the most ridiculous things, taking money from the Koch brothers to fund like far right, blah, 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 whatever. It's like, what are you talking about? The Koch brothers did some event with George Soros or something. Like, the Koch brothers are industrialists. They're not in agreement with what Dave Rubin is doing.
Right.
That's not necessarily. I think the bigger concern from a lot of people is the Mercers, not the Koch brothers. But it's like a narrative. So when you get someone like Dave who's actually going to sit down with someone and have a conversation that's not supposed to be, not part of the mainstream narrative,
Yep.
They will lie. They will try to cancel him. And sometimes it works against a lot of people. They've been canceled, have been banned, lost their income. Well, yeah. When you skateboard, you fall. Adam got a big old bloody gash on his ankle. And guess what? He was skating just the other day.
What's that called? Paying your dues?
Paying your dues.
And you know what? I'll have bloody ankles again one day.
Yep.
Because
Adam?
I'm not going to stop.
The cost of tray flip is high. But
Yes,
it's a
it
price
is.
I'm willing to pay. And I'm willing to bet I'm not the only one. So if you want to land a tray flip, that means you might bang up your ankles.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm the only one, then so be it. But I'm willing to bet I'm not.
Here.
Here, Tim.
I'm inspired.
I am so patriotic
I
right
got a
now.
tray flip. I
Once
don't know
again,
what it
ripping
means.
off Captain America. Home Brian says Grant Imahara passed away last night. Rip, a great scientist. Yeah, that's sad, man. He
Yeah,
was
it is.
49.
So young.
That dude was rad. He was one of the Mythbusters
He
guys.
was
For those who don't know.
His optimistic nature was just infectious. That whole show, they were all having fun with science, and
But
it was
now,
great.
some of them are just becoming Orange Man bad
No.
cultists, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, it happens.
That's so weird, man.
It is the narrative, though. It's everyone.
It's contagious.
Oh man, I don't even want to get into it anymore.
Cuddle Panda says those volcano sharks are proof Shark Boy and Lava Girl are real.
Oh yeah,
Confirmed.
huh?
Jay Merger says the Babylon 5 storyline is coming. Respect the chain of command. Civilians are not supposed to order the military. Oh. Bree Evans says, hi guys, found out my younger brother watches you guys too, and he said we're cast buddies.
Oh, cute.
Nice.
I love
Thanks
it.
for providing something for us to bond over while being thousands of miles apart. Spin the UFO for Hawaii and Maryland.
Oh, that's cool.
That's really sweet.
Bringing family together. I
Yeah,
love
man.
it.
Yeah.
I'm spinning that for you guys. For both of you.
2 for 1.
From
Heavy-
sea to shining sea.
Heavy Arms Guy says, got my Twitter temporarily suspended for criticizing Nick Cannon's comment against specific ethnic individuals.
Ooh.
Thanks, 2020.
Of course.
Oh,
Huh.
yeah. It's what he said was so
Oh, dude.
insane.
Racist?
Beyond racist.
Yeah,
Black
you're
identity
right.
extremism.
That's true.
And we lived on that street where that black identity extremist killed that Latino and that Asian cop.
That's true.
We've seen it firsthand right in front of our home. What people like Nick Cannon bring about.
Yep.
They need to be called out. But you know what? What they say is allowed. It's on
craziness.
Twitter. Nobody cares.
He straight up says he's spouting the words of Farrakhan, and it's like
It's beyond that. He is calling certain races subhuman.
that's true.
Wow.
Think about what Molyneux got banned for.
That's exactly
They
it.
Basically
that's what their
It's
argument
worse
is.
than, well, it
It's
was
worse.
way worse than what he said.
Yeah, because I don't know the full details, but Molyneux was basically using metaphors about predator and prey and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was enough. But to be fair, again, didn't watch, so I want to be careful about my criticisms or statements about Molyneux because I didn't watch his content. So, but Nick Cannon just comes out right out and says it. He's like, I'm going to be careful here, but here's the thing:
But I'm not.
I'm going to be careful saying this, but I'm dropping bombs.
racist, supremacist,
Racist bombs.
and they allow it. They allow it.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man. Welcome to 2020, huh? All right, let's see. Where are we at?
Yeah.
Philip Hunter says, I've been following since Occupy. Love the trajectory you're on. Do you guys believe we should help those who ask for it and align with our interests?
Are you talking about states, you think? Or like the states?
In general?
Or
I
like maybe the
typically-
countries? Because we were talking about
Internationally, yeah.
policing the world in a sense.
Oh, I see.
Could have been either or.
I'd say the answer is half yes.
Well, we already do help everybody in a sense. You know, I think doing what Trump is doing, he's trying to make America really strong. And I think we can do that. We can show, we are on the forefront of showing what it's like to be free and maintain that freedom. And we are at a very pivotal moment in our history of America. We're still considered young. We're a young country. We're still figuring things out. And we're at a very, very crucial point that it could just spiral out of control. And there's a lot of people that want to see that happen. And we need to stand up and stop it.
From the ashes of the old, they will build anew. They're the chaos vote, the far left. They want to destroy everything because the only way for them to create their new world is to destroy the old one.
That's a good point.
Firefox says, I've decided to call all police that just follow orders oath breakers. Spin that UFO clockwise, please.
I'll do that.
You got
Clockwise.
other direction.
Specifically asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't do this often, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess I don't really want to make it a thing. I'm finding it. I'm resisting it. I'll do it.
Come on, you gotta do it.
Well, while he's spinning it, make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at TimCast. You can follow at Adam Krigler on Instagram, Twitter as well. And both of us are on Parler, of course.
Parler.
And then you also have at Sour Patch Lids.
Yes, I'm all of those places as well, including Parler.
LYDS for
Yep.
lids.
And
As in Lydia.
and please go follow TimcastIRL. This weekend I'm going to be doing a deep dive onto Donald Trump, and it's going to be really interesting. Ian Crossland joins me. We did an episode last Saturday, basically introducing ourselves, saying who we are, kind of our path a little bit. We talk about little video games. We're both gamers, so. But this Saturday is going to be a big episode because we're going to be talking about Trump and doing a deep dive into who he is, what he's doing.
Look, fat.
What is he doing over there?
What
the heck?
You think you know about Trump? Well, you know the thing about Trump and what we're doing. So you don't Adam Cast IRL. We have a Joe Biden now.
That's great. I really enjoy it.
I think we do need a Trump.
We do.
We need a Trump.
Yep. Let's.
Yep.
Oh, I'm gonna see if we can find it.
We need a China button, and we need to cheat
China.
an
Oh
election.
my gosh, we
Yep,
have so much.
all of them.
Should we just buy a couple of these things?
No, they're made in China. Let's not do
Oh,
that.
yeah, let's see if we can find it
I'm
somewhere
good.
else.
China.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
rather not.
Let's find somewhere else.
Mac Grendel says, Tim, you're doing good work. I don't mean just quality, I mean good. You're pointing to the deception of the American people. Thank you. Well, I do appreciate it.
Yep, that's right.
Let's see. Perry does mapping, says, spin the UFO.
I'm gonna spin it.
Anyways, I've been following you for 3 years since high school, and you have helped me shape my political views and whatnot. I used to be a far left crazy until I stumbled upon you. Ever since then, I have been a right centrist.
Very cool.
Nice.
You know, I think the center is a pretty savvy spot to be.
yeah, it's where most people are.
Both sides don't like it. You know why? They both say the exact same thing. They say centrists are people who, can't stand up for what's right and are too scared. They go whichever the way wind takes them. People who stand in the middle of the road tend to get run over, they say.
Oh my goodness.
Centrists are people who understand the left has some good arguments, the right has some good arguments.
Right.
And we need to figure out what the best arguments are.
Here.
Right now, the problem is the left is not the other side of the road. The left is like on the other side of town.
Different continent.
That's
I
true.
can't even see where they're at. So
they went trekking into the forest, and they're somewhere deep into the forest.
I'd be willing to bet the people who think they're center right are probably center left. But the
good point.
Overton window is being pushed so far. There was a funny thing. I did this. I've mentioned it before. I did the political compass test, and I'm center left libertarian, like left leaning libertarian. I did one with Luke Rutkowski of We Are Change, and he's right leaning libertarian. And then we put up these videos, and a lot of people were shocked to find they were actually left leaning, and they didn't know.
Yeah.
Because the Overton window is now basically like, if you're not Stalin, then you're literally Hitler.
Right.
So there are people who are like, well, because I'm not a communist, I must be conservative. And it's like, actually, you might not be.
Gotta be something in the middle.
I'm more conservative than you. I took the test a while back. And,
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
we
yeah, you're a
compared
little-
it,
right,
and I'm a
you-
little
yeah.
bit further to the right than you
Yeah.
are, which honestly makes sense.
I think it's like one quadrant down and to the left. Like I'm a little, like 1 degree libertarian left from you.
Yeah.
But it's obvious.
We're pretty close,
A
though.
lot. I think a lot of people who grew up in cities, who do similar things to us, have similar views.
True.
And those views do not mesh with the current iteration of whatever it is the left is. Authoritarian, weirdo, dogmatic,
Yep.
whatever.
I do have to say, though, for everybody that has complained about me on Facebook, on my post, there's an equal amount of people that are hitting me up going, I'm with you.
Good.
So, a little shining of light.
MB says, thanks for introducing me to Tom McDonald. I'm a 36-year-old white mom of 3 and now feel less weird listening to rap at the gym because of his message.
Awesome.
Fighting the
He's
power.
awesome.
Fighting the power one song at a time. Also, watch you every night. Spin the UFO, Adam.
I will do that.
Do it.
Everyone's just going to add Spin the UFO to every super chat
He's
now.
like,
'cause
oh,
you spin
yeah.
the UFO.
Hey, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. It's
It's part of the show.
You were doing the 8-bit Bob.
Oh, I was.
Yeah.
So
So-
it's true. We do it.
Somebody made an 8-bit graphic of all of us, and we're like bouncing like a video game. Do, 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 do.
Did you see the Adamcast one?
Which one? Oh, the skateboard.
Same one made
Yeah,
an
yeah, yeah.
Adamcast for me. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Rad.
Smash that like button.
All right,
Smash it. Smash. Oh, I want you to smash it.
Biden that like button.
Oh yeah.
Look, fat. You gotta press the like button. You know,
the thing.
the button, because America.
Back when Obama and Trump is bad, but Obama and I smashed it. I'm bad. I'm terrible at Biden. I can't.
You
do
just gotta
Biden.
say
hard.
look fat.
No. I don't. I don't like that.
That's all good.
I know it's what he actually said, but
Look fat.
The thing.
Omega Hunter says,
I don't like it.
have you thought about extreme victim complexes propped up recently? Historically, genocide starts with this kind of mentality.
Yep.
Postscript. Tim, my father gives you $25 of this super chat. He's become a fan since I shared this video a few times. Well, thank
Very
you very
cool.
much.
Thank you very much.
You see, it is very important that you all spread the good word of TimcastIRL.
Yes.
And let them know that we've added Joe Biden permanently to the cast.
Yes, he is part of
Put
us
him right
now.
here.
Oh man.
He is inseparable from us.
We should get a Joe Biden soundboard too. Like we have Greta. We should get a
yeah.
few key phrases.
Yeah, I want a legitimate soundboard. Let's do it.
Yeah, man, we got to figure that one out. Hey, if you guys go to, no, I'm not gonna ask, but I'm trying to figure out how to do a soundboard. Somebody sent us this,
That is
which
so
is
cool.
like you record a sound and
They
you can,
custom made it too. They added "How
beautiful.
dare you" on the top.
Oh yeah,
And then they glued the thing that lets you record it on the bottom, so you can't undo
Change
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Oh,
pretty
when you
cool.
press it.
nice.
It's awesome.
It's so beautiful.
But what we need is like a full board that actually sinks into our mixer.
Right.
And I bought these mixers and they don't do it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, man, I am just not the person. We'll have to figure something out. So how dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you, Joe Biden?
Oh man.
Adrian Curry says this show is my version of Who Watches the Watchmen. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Cool.
E. Finn says 3 pints for you guys. You all keep me informed. I teach media literacy and love your show. Cheers for the end of the zombie apocalypse. Well, here's hoping, man.
Yeah.
Media literacy.
It's
Very
gonna
cool.
end. It will.
Zach Miller says, came in late. Did you guys address Ghislaine's trial being put off till 2021?
Whoa, really?
You got to vote for Trump. That's why.
That's why.
Because you know what happens if Biden gets in?
That'll never happen.
Nothing.
Ghislaine Maxwell, tragically,
Oh,
COVID.
man.
took her own
Sad.
life.
Very sad.
Somebody tweeted when Epstein got arrested, they're like, so if he kills himself, we all riot, right? And it went viral. And then Epstein,
Killed himself.
allegedly, and nobody did anything. Nobody cared. Because I don't get it. You know, why are the protests? How come hundreds of thousands of people didn't march to the streets?
I don't know.
If
I don't have the
something
answers.
happens to Ghislaine, I will march, 100%.
Okay. I'm gonna hold you to that.
I would do it.
Yeah,
I'm
do
gonna
it
hold you to
too.
that.
I will.
heard that.
If something happens to Ghislaine Maxwell, COVID, anything, I don't care. Then I say we need to get rid of every single person from politics. All the incumbents are gone.
We gotta turn it
Every
off and on
single
again.
one. Yep.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. I
So
watched too.
you would agree with the crazy left to burn it all down?
I didn't say burn it all down.
Well, I mean that's essentially what
Voting
they're trying
out
to do.
the incumbents,
Okay, well that's different than marching out there and
marching in protest,
protesting.
demanding that we vote out
I
incumbents.
want specifics. So okay.
Yeah, specifically, the left and the right should come together, should march hand in hand, demanding all the incumbents are gone.
Yeah,
And
so that's
we
what you're
elect-
gonna
we-
do. That's what you're gonna specifically march for.
That-
I'm
that-
trying to lock you in as much as I can.
I would march specifically for that. Now, the left goes out demanding that Trump be arrested because they blame him on some stupid conspiracy. I wouldn't march. I'm saying if the left and the right came together, saying we just want answers, publish the documents, the video,
Yeah.
incumbents out. Okay, sure. All right, let's see where are we at. Derridus says politically homeless veteran here. Use this to help split a vegan sandwich.
Oh, how nice.
Will do.
Cool.
Robert Jorgensen says, I think the big cities are in a Universe 25 situation. What is that?
I don't know. Let me look.
No idea.
Tom, thanks for the super chat. And what else we got? Just more calls. Talbot says, always a good time with y'all. Spin the Warudo. Well, you're going to spin it?
I'll count it.
We gotta
It's
do
past 10.
It's the
everybody.
magic word, spin.
It's past 10.
Mm-hmm.
So what you need to do right now is make sure you subscribe, because if you didn't, you should.
Yes.
Subscribing seems to be almost meaningless at this point. It's not really a subscribe button anymore. It's more of a, I think this channel is really good and you should show it to other people.
Yep.
It seems like the only thing YouTube really does with any kind of comments, like button, subscription, is tell YouTube to promote the channel.
That's a good point.
So the more you guys engage with, smashing the like button and subscribing, the notification bell, the more likely YouTube is to recommend to other people. If you think we're doing a good job breaking down the media and talking about these issues in a fair way, then I think it's really important then, that we can talk to more people.
Yep.
So yes, I say all the time to speak up. If you're still unwilling to speak up, at least you could be willing to hit the like button and subscribe in an effort to make sure more people can hear what we have to say, right? At the very least.
Please, and we really appreciate it.
We do.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Thank you,
for
guys.
sure.
And with that being said, make sure you follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Parler at Timcast.
Yes.
And you can follow me, Adam Krigler, on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. You can follow me on my new channel, TimcastIRL, also. And I do a show every Saturday night, or that's the plan anyway, every Saturday night, 8 to 10, just like this show, just kind of continue it on with Ian Crossland. And we jam out. It's kind of like a continuation of the Friday after show party. And so.
But I get a day off, so.
And Tim gets a day off, and I get to run the show. It's fun.
And you can
Believe.
follow at Sour Patch Lids, LYDS.
Correct. On Twitter and Parler, and that's it.
So we have mentioned this before. We have a big expansion on the way,
Yes.
and things are going to be changing soon. And there will be positions where probably some kind of hiring in some capacity. So just stay tuned for the big expansion. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have a skate park and a shooting range, and it's going to be crazy.
I am excited about it.
It's going to be awesome.
Thrilled.
But with that being said, it is time for bed. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Stay tuned for tomorrow. We'll be back at 8 p.m. live. We love you all so much, and we will see you all then.
Good night,
Bye,
everybody.
guys.